Hello, I'm Ryan Callan and welcome to the opening round of the Virtual V8 Supercars 2013 Championship, and we got a good season in store for you.
GamePod, the ultimate race rig for those serious about sim racing, puts you in the driver's seat with all the controls at your fingertips. Be number one on the road, in the race, in the game. GamePod, the choice of champions.
InsideSimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
Hello and welcome to Melbourne for the opening round of this Virtual V8 Supercars Championship. I'm Ryan Callan. I'm joined today by Danny Asbury. What is going to be an excellent race?
Yeah, I mean, Virtual V8 has turned into one of the, spectacles in all of sim racing. So, I mean, forget commentating on the thing. I'm just happy to be here as a fan to watch it.
Absolutely, Dan. Of course, last year you were one of the drivers in those cars that we're going to be seeing on the track in just a few moments' time.
Yeah, you know, I've got a lot of experience driving these V8, so hopefully maybe I can help the viewers with kind of understanding the mindset you need as a driver to go into these races.
And a couple of near misses with your pole positions, Danny, also as well.
Yes, a few pole positions lost by Mr. William Levike, who we'll cover in a second here as we get down to the practice times.
We will do, and we'll go through all that in just a second. But here it is, the obviously the event, the flyer for it, and those are the dates that we've had also as well. And pre-qualifying was the precursor, of course, to this particular event, Danny, and some interesting results also as well in there.
Yeah,
I brought up the wrong picture there, Danny. I still had a Clio picture in there. That's terrible of me. I do apologise. I will remove that quickly for you guys. My apologies.
Yeah, you know, the thing about pre-qualification, it's a 10-round championship, but, I mean, pre-quali has turned into the 11th round because it's a full-on effort you have to put into these things. Maybe even more so, more effort goes into a pre-quali nowadays than the actual race event, but it's an absolute spectacle these things have turned into in TPS.
Of course, it's crucial, isn't it, to set off your season in the correct fashion. But it's not, the be-all and end-all, because last season Ross McGregor took some would view as a surprising third place in overall the championship, but started out in Division 2.
Yeah, it's a rarity when we see somebody start out in Division 2 and finish so well. I mean, Stoffel Van Dorn at one point, he won a championship from Division 2. I mean, started in Division 2 anyway, or fell in Division 2. But whatever the case is, you do want to start in Division 1. You can, if with determination, that type of thing, you can have a good run coming out of Division 2. But yeah, it's huge to start off in Division 1, and so that's why you see the drivers putting such a max effort to get there.
Absolutely. So obviously, we've got plenty of events coming up in the TPS in the near future. Actually, next Friday, we'd go to the second round of the Virtual Mini Challenge. I'll be driving there, so you can come and watch and laugh at me. We've got two new commentators and presenters at that particular event, Bradley Vanian and John Monroe, making their belated debut in the TouringProSeries in the booth. So make sure you tune in for that. As you can see, that's on the 5th of April from 19:15 GMT, which, of course, will be an hour later. And obviously in time as the times go forward. If you've forgotten, everyone in Europe, the times go forward 1 hour tonight, so 1 hour less sleep for everyone, and what a big joy that is also as well. So we're going to go into the game now and show you what's happening out on track at the moment. And it's once again, it's the two powerhouses of TPS at the moment, Danny. It's THR and Precision.
Yeah, I mean, we saw these guys go at it in Tom Onsicle Clio Series, and again, they are at it here in Virtual V8. Now, you're seeing the two top guys on the leaderboard at the moment is Jeffrey Rietveld and William Levike. Jeffrey, though, that is absolute burner of a lap you're seeing there at 54 flat. I'm sorry, he's in the pits right now. But, yeah, it's pretty much going to be THR versus Precision here today. And we're seeing a Eunice Ravio, who's third right now, who's been very quick on the live timing sheets this week. Has actually been the third-ranked driver all week. So hopefully the Optimum Sim Sport driver, sim racing driver, can mix it up here.
Well, he's actually driving for THR this season. Danny, as you see,
You're right,
THR
THR, I'm
colours
looking
right
at it
there.
right now.
THR green colours there. He's teamed up with Reese Notenboom, who's making his return to the championship. He's not faring the best at the moment, though, back in 27th. But Reese, as one of those drivers, has a 50% win ratio in the TPS. We've completed 4 races and won 2 of them. 2 of them against the great Gregory de Grief, of course.
Yeah, he's going to have a little bit of a hard time defending such an impeccable record in a really tough field, but he's going. THR's actually added quite a few drivers for this series, and Reese being one of them.
Yeah. And of course, Reese has been out of action for quite a while from the TPS. In fact, since World Touring Masters Season 1, which is back in early 2010. So we're talking almost 3 years since we saw Reese Notenboom in a car in the TPS. So, and pretty much, I think about 2 years he's been away from sim racing. So he's having to adapt very quickly, and he's coming to the baptism of fire here. One of the other drivers that also has been away from TPS for quite a while is Ben Crooks. He's a real crowd favourite, Danny.
Oh yeah, everyone loves Ben Crooks. I mean, this guy, he hasn't been in TPS for maybe the past 2 years really, but he is without question one of the most popular drivers in the whole series. So it's good to see him out here today. I mean, I talked to him quickly before the race started. He's not too confident in his pace here today. As you're seeing, he's showing 25th on the boards right now, but he's certainly going to be out there. He's a big name to watch, and I'm personally looking forward to see him race this afternoon.
We're just showing you the level of competition in TPS. You're away for a while. You can't just step back in and immediately go as quick as you were before. Ben Crooks has 4 race wins to his name in the Virtual V8 Supercars, and many poles as well, and back in 25th, and he may be only he's only a second off from being in the top 12 and 13. So hopefully he can improve throughout the season, and I'm sure many fans will also be looking for him to improve throughout the season also as well. Returning to also the championship is Mr. Sergei Yashin, and he's driving for Walk Racing. These liveries have been painted by Florian Strauss, and Florian once again doing a great job.
Yeah, I mean, beautiful liveries there. Sergey, again, I talked to him before the race, and be honest with you,
everyone, Danny.
I get around a little bit.
How about time?
Sergey, he wasn't confident at all. Another guy not confident by his pace, but through live races, he was 5th all week leading up to this event, and now we're seeing him 6th. So I don't know why Sergey was so kind of passive when he was talking to me, but Sergey, he's looking really strong here today. I know last year he started the championship. He started the championship here at Melbourne, but fell off after that. I'm hoping that he can maybe stick with it a little longer here.
Yeah, that would be great to see. And also, of course, great representation for Walk Racing, Karamadara Bogdan's team. Talking of Florian Strauss, 2011 champion, has returned with 360 Racing alongside Sasha Glatter, who's a well-known hotshot outside of the TPS community, and looking forward to seeing this team show what they can do.
360 Racing's been a staple within Virtual V8 for the past 2-3 seasons. The thing is, Florian said the team hasn't done too much testing for this event, and he said the 360 way is kind of, you do too much testing, you don't have any talent. So these guys are all about them kind of just going out there and seeing what they can do.
Well, of course, hard work is also one of the attributes you need to be successful as well. So it's, in my opinion, just as important as skill. And again, a striking livery from Florian Strauss, as always, in the Virtual V8 Supercars. And hopefully he can improve throughout the season. He's got all new rig, all new equipment also as well. And his teammate, Sasha Glatter, is going slightly quicker than him at the moment, up in 8th place. 3rd place last year was Ross McGregor, Danny. But it was a bit of a surprise, really, more down due to consistent top 5 finishes. It sounds stupid to say, but consistency and those top 5 finishes he consistently got all the time saw him go to that 3rd place.
Ross, he's a guy who he says he's never confident going into a race. Another driver like that, but Ross actually last year it was a bit of a surprise for him even to finish that high like he did. But he's definitely someone who comes on once the races start as opposed to qualifying. Told me for this race today that he's actually recovering from a neurovirus. So that was kind of a
he's getting his excuses in early. Everyone's doing that this week. You can see.
Everyone's just out their deathbed for round 1.
The spectacular shots that come through turn 5 also as well. Ross has joined a new team for this season though as well. He's joined Ice Cold Racing alongside Tveit and among other drivers. And other drivers who've a new team that has joined the TouringProSeries also as well is No Limit Motorsports, and they've got some stunning looking liveries
Oh, gorgeous. I actually love these kind of Le Mans style liveries they No Limits got on here. And I just love how these guys have come into the championship with a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of hard work, and I really expect big results from No Limit this year, Ryan.
And they've registered some shock as to how high the talent level is in the Touring Pro Series, but they're running well at the moment. 7th place fastest at the moment for Gerdica.
Yeah, Gerdica, his teammate, I think he has a little bit more trouble. Michael Muller down in 15th, but these guys, I mean, both...
They're not far off at all, though.
Yeah, to be inside the top 15 on a grid this strong, that's nothing to sniff at whatsoever. I mean, if these guys can have some solid race pace, I mean, you're looking at potentially maybe a couple of top 10 finishes out of No Limit to start off their TPS career.
Okay, so we've talked about the new guys, we've talked about a few of the contenders. Let's talk about the champions. Jesper Torborg, driver champion last year, 3 wins, sealed the title before the final race had even started. And what else would you put on him to back that up once again this season?
Well, here's the thing about Torborg. For a while, there was a lot of speculation about whether or not he was even going to defend his title. And I'll say this now, there's never been a repeat champion in VV8, and not only that, but the defending champion has always quit out the following season. So I think that's kind of an interesting stat we have. Hopefully Talberg's the guy to break it. And Ryan, I'm never going to pick against the guy. He wins races at will, and I'm certainly not going to pick against him here today. The only thing I will say here is you're seeing him come up to his teammate Toby Davis. Toby's going to, I think, let him go through. I think Toby's going on an outlap, but Toby, I wasn't too sure about his form coming into this event, but I mean, he's sitting 5th in on the timesheets right now. So hopefully he can support Talberg and maybe defend the THR title from last year, because THR obviously were the team that won the 2012 championship.
Another driver that won the 3 races last season was William. Let's come back to the pits. That's typical. Is William Levesque, and he won 3 races last year, came 2nd in the championship. One senses there is a big hunger there, a big desire to usurp Torborg this season.
This is the guy right here.
Him and Jeffrey Riedveld have already had a few banter, you would call it. It's not been unfriendly at all, but there's a bit of sportsmanship there already.
Sure. I mean, William, I know the motivation for him to win this championship is absolutely through the roof. Out of the drivers I talked to going into this thing, he was one of the most confident guys for once. Said he expects to come out here, win round 1, and wants to win the championship. That's all that's on his mind right now. I think, I mean, without kind of discounting a guy like Riedfeld, I think William Levesque is your favorite going into this 2013 season.
And of course, everyone's obviously been talking about the Thomas O'Cole Clio Series at the moment, and the huge prizes are in that, and that's been the big news in the Touring Pro Series. But these still remain the biggest driving test, don't they, in sim racing?
Oh, without question. I mean, these cars are so hard to drive because they're unorthodox in a certain way. I mean, some sim racers come into this thing, they just don't like it. I mean, other people just love it because it's kind of an acquired taste, but it's without question very hard to do, because not only it's hard to get the lap pace, but then the race pace and keeping the tires on it, which I guess we'll get into in a few seconds here, because it's just it's an all-around challenge for any sim racer to kind of tame these things.
And talking about tyres and tyre management, last season it was Levesque and Torborg who led the way because of that, and one of the big reasons Florian Strauss quit from the championship because he didn't agree with the whole conserving your tyres thing, but obviously many people that's the way to go. Riedveld definitely throwing this car around, that's the way to do it during qualifying, but if he did that during the race, these tyres would go off very quickly indeed. However, that's a very quick lap as well from Jeffrey Riedveld.
That's the first 53 we've seen all week.
Lovely stuff, and that's right in time for qualifying as well, which is going to be in a few seconds' time. This particular event, last season, it was all sprint tyres. Let's find something out on track we've not watched just yet. Let's just to give them a bit of tip over nice. So we're going to give him a bit of airtime, but he decided to go off the track. Matty Orban, here we are. He had a good finish last season also as well. This particular race, sorry, let's go back. Last season, all sprint tyre events, every single one of them, even the final event at Bathurst. And several drivers complaining about obviously the difficulty of going to qualifying. Now, several drivers complain about the difficulty of holding onto those sprint tyres. There's a mixture this year, though, isn't there, Danny? There's sprint races, even double race events this season, and there's both sprint tyres and control tyres, the tyres that have less grip and more durability, available to use. And this particular event is a 200-kilometre event, 39 laps, on just the control tyres. I mean, who do you see that favouring at all?
Well, that's the thing. This switch of tire compound this year, it's kind of shaking things up a little bit because, like you said, William Levite was the guy last year. Now with these control tires, we've got to kind of watch and see who can really master them because drivers might be 50-50 on whether they like them or not. Some drivers absolutely love the new change, such as Florian. He's very much looking forward to this season because of the change. But then there are also drivers that really don't appreciate the lack of grip, like a guy like Kevin Brent I talked to. He said he thinks that having it as the control tire this year is going to take away his edge, like in the middle of the race when keeping the tires on him really helps his type of racing style out. I mean, so again, we'll see how it kind of shakes things up this year. But I think it's going to definitely reshuffle the order a little bit, Ryan, as to who are, I guess, the best on a race stint.
And just quickly on that, just before we get on to people on their hot laps as they go out on track and see at the moment, let's just look at the calendar on your right-hand side. You can see a mixture of that. You've got the Melbourne, obviously, event. That's the 200 kilometers we're doing here today on the control tyres. And then you've got 3 events in a row where it is just the sprint tyre to be able to use. Then we go to North America with just the control tyres. Again, then 3 events where it's the sprint tyres, and then we get to the final event where it's a control tyre again. So we've got a mixture in there to satisfy all of the different drivers and give them more of an element and more of a risk and strategy in these particular races. Speaking of strategy also as well, going to be a 2-stopper here today, Danny. No doubt about that, because obviously you can't make it on the fuel. 75-litre fuel tank, you have to pit twice.
Fuel cells are just like they were last year. We're looking about pit stops from lap 12 to lap 14. We'll get into more of that, I guess, as the race goes on. But yeah, two-stop race today. One of the longer races on the calendar because of the two-stop thing going on. And as we're now riding on board William Levite as he begins this hot lap to start off this 2013 campaign.
Talk around this lap here, Danny, because obviously you know these cars and this track very well.
Yeah, and here through that first corner complex, it's a very difficult part, but as you're going to take it right to the end of the track there, anyhow, we go down to the second turn here. Again, you want to hold it in tight. You can't get the car too wide on the apex here. Perfectly done by Levite. Swings it back across. Gets the back end stepped out a little bit. Wants to get under control as he needs to get the power here through this fast right-hander. Runs it out to the curb again. And another difficult part of the track here as we go into the game pod logo. A little flick left, a swing in right. Hold the apex tight. Perfectly done there by Levite. As he continues to on his lap as he's now on Sector 2. Sector 2 is mostly the quick part of the track as he's going to need to slow the car down here for the braking towards the right. Again, a flick left here as you're going to pull the car up to the wall, as the bike does there. And now we get going to the meat of Sector 2 here. One of the most important corners on the track as the car's going to go the fastest chicane, really, as you go down to the left. Here, get it in, and now you got to get the car to the wall like Levite does. Load it in here to the right, run it out wide. Levite does that very cleanly, I must say, as he's going to continue through Sector 2. I think that actually ends Sector 2 as we go now on Sector 3. The car loads in here. Not that fast of a corner, but not that slow either. Sorry, my description's off a little bit there.
It's a medium speed corner you're meant to say.
Yeah, there we go. As he finishes off Sector 3, down to second gear here, as now he's just going to do a little flick left, another flick in here right. Once again, the power is quick.
And how difficult is that final corner of these particular cars? Because
it's
people find it
difficult
in F1 cars, never mind these cars.
Yeah, because the car really wants to step out. You have to really do well in the throttle control there. As Levite comes out 54.4, and
nice banker at least.
It's hard to call that a banker because it's actually a very quick lap. Only Levite and Rietveld have been able to go quicker than that. But again, we've seen Rietveld.
But of course, he wants that pole position, doesn't he? So from that point of view, it's definitely just a banker.
Yeah, he'll definitely have to do better than that if he wants to.
And different strategies we can see here also as well. Some people are going for 2 flying laps, some people are going for just 1.
Yeah, you could do either. I always went for 2 flying laps in these cars.
54.2, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, 54.2 by Rietveld. We've seen he can go to 53s. I'm not sure if Rietveld is going to come out to pits. Yeah, he is coming out to pits again. But anyhow, here we have Michael Mueller. Remember, he was 15th in practice so far up to 7th. He'll need to improve on that 55, though, to hold that position. As we're seeing...
And it's busy on track right now, isn't it, as well? It's a 2-minute lap, of course, but with over 30 cars on track, it's becoming very busy indeed.
A lot of people actually had trouble with this last year, finding an open track to get their lap done. And to be honest with you, like I said, it's a 2-minute track, so you have space. It's not nearly...
What do you do to try and find yourself, some space on that track?
I always try to find out a fast driver. I pick out a fast driver coming around, finishing his pace, about to go on his lap, and I just follow him around. Because you want a guy to kind of be a buffer zone, somebody you know that you're not really going to catch. You don't want to get yourself find a slower driver, because that can really mess up your lap.
So nobody would come out behind you, Danny?
No, absolutely not. I always had a clear track behind me.
I apologise to Danny for that. It was a cheap joke, but you left me an open goal. And Mueller's gone quite quickly here. He's only 8 tenths down. In fact, he's only lost a couple of tenths in that middle sector to Rietveld in that particular lap, because he was quite a way down in the first sector already. So Mueller going well here. He's gone faster than his teammates so far, which has not been the norm throughout pre-qualifying, all the pre-practice for this event. He's made the mistake there though, and that's the end of that lap really. And getting the car slowed down, of course, is very difficult indeed. Sergei Yashin, again, showing belying his pessimism, perhaps because he's from Israel. They're obviously a not very cheerful lot over there, but Sergei not finding that his pace is too far off. It seems plenty close enough to me.
Yeah, 55.2 is a very respectable lap. We're seeing only 3 drivers in the 54 so far, with Rietveld,
but not improved position.
Yeah, that again, 55.2. That's going to be soft. This guy right here, Simon Kielov, is down sitting on a 55.2 as well. I mean, and obviously his teammate's been is a full second faster than him. So I'm curious what we can see from Kielov as this session progresses.
And is that Levesque on a fast lap also as well? It is a Levesque on a fast lap as well. So these are 2 guys on their quick lap. Let's go looking back from Levesque on Kilo. Sorry for going through all the cameras here. There's quite a few of them. And Levesque looking back at Kilo. Kilo just getting slightly wide through that turn 5 complex. The grass really upsets you at this particular track. It's changed quite a lot from last season, from when you last drove this track, and we've gone to a standardised track grip layout on that grass. People who are more casual observers may be thinking, what on earth are we talking about? But you can change. Oh, and there goes Kilo around as well.
On the grass, got a bit of that anti-cut, and you just went straight around there, Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, people obviously who are more casual observers are thinking, what on earth are you talking about? But you can change the values of the grip of the track to reflect real life, and it's quite an art to get that absolutely correct. And this over the past couple of months, we've put a lot of effort into making sure the grass is more realistic and not able to be used as much as it has been in the past. And of course, you're now seeing a lot less drivers actually running wide through that turn 10 and 11 complex. You used to see a lot of drivers running wide through there, but not seeing too many do that so far today. There's obviously a bit of a deterrent there for those drivers, and Levesque comes now into Prost. Penultimate corner, a bit wide through there as well, missed the apex, got the car out wide once again though with the wag of the tail, and through the final corner he comes. And, what will Levesque's time be here? Do you think he's going to be quick enough? Doesn't look like it is.
Yeah, no, he definitely missed it.
He's improved, but not enough. So he stays in that second place, and Toby Davis is struggling out of track at the moment. He's one of those drivers who just proved me wrong when he's gone wide at turn 10-11 complex, but I'm sure even if the grass was gripper out there, that still wouldn't have worked. Yashin on outlap at the moment. Rivio is 6th, 7th is Kilo, 8th has gone Thibaut for Nice. We're not talking too much about Thibaut, but he's a young French driver who's brand new to the TPS and has been picked up by Walk Racing. He's showing plenty of speed.
Yeah, both Walk cars looking very strong today, both inside the top 10. But the guy I'm looking at right now is Florian Strauss, the 2011 champion, down in 11th. And so far, he's a second, 1.2 seconds off the top time by Rietveld. And Strauss, he said, like I said, he hasn't done too much testing for this event, but he was throughout all season looking at his race pace, and that's where he's trying to make up his ground. So maybe if Florian can just improve a little bit, we can see a better Strauss once the race starts.
He does need to be in the top 8 really to be, with a realistic chance of getting this race win. Who's out on track at the moment? We can see. Let's just rotate to the standing a little bit for you guys, so you can see the rest of the field. Adrian Holmes out on track at the moment. Of course, Adrian Holm has been so close to winning races in the TPS. Danny, we've seen it a couple of times. We saw it at Simmons Plains, where he took second place in 2012, or was it third place? One of the two. But he was right on par with the pace of Levesque at that, and only early on getting caught up with Levesque's teammates actually that prevented him from winning that. And of course, Sydney Park, his debut, 2011. He's leading on the last lap. He makes a mistake, and Florian sneaks through to take that win. So I mean, Adrian's blown a bit hot and cold throughout 2012, and again it seems like it's blown hot and cold here.
Yeah, he talked about his 2011 debut when he almost won that race. He felt that it generated unrealistic expectations going to 2012. I mean, he was very passionate about that. He thought that people expected too much of him when he really wasn't much of a touring car driver. He feels that this year in 2013 that the expectations have tempered a little bit, and he feels now is his chance to really make a run up this VV8 grid.
And another driver, obviously, in a little bit of trouble here in this qualifying session, Ross McGregor. Third place last year in the championship we talked about. He's 16th right now.
Ross, like I said, he wasn't confident about his quality pace. He's hoping that if he can get inside the top 15, he can then make a charge to get inside the top 10 once the race starts. So far, I guess that's kind of what he expected, to be sitting in that maybe just outside the top 15 like that.
Rasmus Salo has been showing incredible pace throughout both V8 pre-qualifying and the Tommaso Cole Clio Series so far. But back in 17th at the moment, but a massive improvement this season from the Optimum Sim Racing crew already.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I mean,
that's a big story, isn't it?
Yes, Rasmus Salo, he's kind of flew the banner for Optimum Sim Racing. In Tommaso Clio Series, he was fantastic. And again out here today, he's 17th, not the best, but when you drive for Optimum Sim Racing, not to bash Optimum too much, being in Division 1 is a plus for those guys. So what he's doing right now in Salo, I'm sure Bradley's sitting back and he's enjoying this very much.
There's more strength in depth there, isn't there? Because obviously they had Strawn drive for them last season, and Strawn is 19th at the moment, drive for Ice Cold Racing this season. But Strawn drove for them last season and got a couple of excellent results, especially at Oran Park for Eric. But he was challenging for that pole position, of course, and took a podium also as well. But there's more strength in depth in there now for the Optimum Sim Racing crew.
Yes, and the loss of Eric Strawn from the team was a real big moment for Optimum Sim Racing. I know Bradley was quite a bit upset about that, and so to see the team kind of restock the lineup with Salo, we have Tristan Clark there in 18th, and a few other drivers. I mean, yes, they've got a lot of depth on this team and a lot of fast drivers. I know even Scott Sovic, who I don't think he's actually joining us today. I think he had to.
He's in Division 2, I believe.
He's in Division 2.
Yeah, we've got Tommy Oyala, though, of course, who's also driving for them as well. So
exactly, but I mean, there's a lot of depth in this team. And I know Sovic, he's been very good in other series, but again, he's in Division 2 here, so a lot of depth for Optimum, and it's great to see that team really grow.
Another driver who's really improved has been Matt Richards, both in pre-qualifying in the Tommaso Cole Clio Series and in the V8s also as well, making it into Server 1. Very unexpectedly, most people would say. It wouldn't be unfair to say that.
I love Matt Richards' mentality for this championship. In my pre-race talk, he was very confident. He said, Danny, you need to watch me out here today. He wants the cameras on him. He feels he can maybe sneakily get inside the top 10 for this race here. And I'm looking forward to see what Matt can bring to the table.
David Young is signed with THR for this particular season and for also the Virtual Mini Challenge as well, but not enjoying his best runs at the moment.
David, he was quite a bit upset with kind of how Nijo Racing, I think, even treated him going into this championship, because the team obviously broke up with Adrian, the other Nijo Racing driver, going to Ice Cold.
Gone different ways.
Exactly. So David, he's signing with THR, and hopefully maybe he can have another run like he did inside the top 10 in 2012.
So, back at the front of the field, Jeffrey Rietveld is still leading the way by just under 0.2 of a second from William Levesque. You've not missed very much at the front of the field, really, while we're going through the rest of the field. So, 1 minute 49 to go. This is go time for these drivers. This will be Jeffrey Rietveld's last attempt at a hot lap. William Levesque will... he won't get another one in after this either. So, he's just going slowly on this lap, isn't he? Just to get himself geared up for one more attempt. Obviously, this lap has not been a great one. So, Levesque's on the front row at the moment, though.
Yeah, sorry. Sasha Gladys actually sitting on fourth for 360 Racing. Yeah. He's very much out-qualified Florian Strauss, who now sits in 12th. So, I mean, out the 360 camp, it looks like Sasha is going to be on point.
But look at that. Strauss can improve. Strauss can improve by just half a second. He'll go right next to Sasha Glatter on the grid. So that shows how close it is at the moment. And if Strauss has been now knocked down to 13th, as Adrian Holm comes up into that fifth place, we'll just talk about that, won't we? How he's got, and that's a lovely looking car as well. Do look at that Ice Cold Racing hood on that particular Ford. But we talk about how he's got the speed, and he wasn't showing it early on, but now he's got that fifth place and he's right there.
Yeah, it's great to see him to start a championship like this, because that's been his problem starting off these championships, Ryan.
So Levesque, he's on a fast lap at the moment. What will his sector times be? I believe we may have just missed the first sector point, so we'll wait for sector 2 as he makes his way around the lake and now around towards turn 8 and 9.
Yeah, and comparing Levitt and Riefeld's time, it seems like Levitt is losing the time through Sector 1. Sector 2, he's okay. Sector 3, I think they're pretty much dead even, but it depends how Levitt came through that Sector 1 if he's going to be able to challenge Riefeld's time for that pole position.
Let's have a look at the split. It's a roundabout just here. It's 0.185 down. That is catchable, but it's very difficult once we're at the front of the field to make up 2 tenths. Let's see what he can do in the rest of this sector here as he comes now down towards Ascari, turn 13.
Yes, time
Gernicke goes
expires
10th.
here. Yeah, so this is.
Oh, he's missed the apex there as well. That looks a little bit slow, a little bit ponderous into that. Let's see what the rest of the lap can bring, whether that was just a bit of an optical illusion. This has been where we've been struggling as well. Into Prost, getting the car slowed down into there has been a difficulty. That was nice actually, drifted it into there, but he kept the momentum up in a nice 4-wheel drift, it seemed like to me. And Levesque now quick towards line. Nobody's going quicker really. Strauss goes 10th though. Strauss does go 10th, so he was back in 14th. So he's made sure he's got up into that 10th spot, and Levesque does not go faster. Rietveld will be on pole position, it seems like, for the opening race here. Home goes, stays in that 5th place. Yashin, can he improve? He does not. Kilo is back in the pits. Davies is down on track at the moment as well, as is Mueller. So Mueller's got plenty of time to finish his lap and improve. Brents goes up into 13th. He's of course joined THR as well, so he's hoping to make a big impression on his new employers, as it were. Toby Davies comes now towards the final couple of corners. Through Prost he comes, gets the car very, very sideways on the exit. Goes now around the final corner. And what can Davies produce? He's in 8th at the moment. He was running 5th in the practice standings. He'll be a bit disappointed right now. He goes
there we
5th.
go. Nice,
he goes to that 5th
nice.
place, and he improves by just over a 1/10 of a second, and improves by 3 positions.
That was brilliant by Toby. I was just starting to wonder about him sitting there in 8th position, and to come through at the final hour or the final few seconds like that to get 5th. Very well done by Toby to keep his head cool.
I believe I just saw Darren Adams out on track still at the moment also. Well, who was it? Oh, it's David Young, sorry, was out on track at the moment. Will he improve? He will not. He stays 26th of the 29 runners. So, we're going to go into warm-up in just a couple of minutes' time. And, of course, the big news in the TPS at the moment also as well, alongside, of course, the flagship series that is the Virtual V8 Supercars, is the Tomozo Cole Clio series. And that continues in a couple of weeks' time, and this is the sort of thing you can look forward to. Hello and welcome back to the action here, and that is the Thomas Cole Clio Series. It says it starts, of course, 27th of March, which it did, and if you missed that, you can catch the full live broadcast. An excellent broadcast it was as well, with Keith Barrick and Scott Woodwis, your hosts. You can catch that on youtube.com/TouringProSeries, of course, also as well. You can use use our Facebook, facebook.com/TouringProSeries, and of course Twitter, which is @Touring_Pro. Make sure you also check out gamepod.co.uk, our excellent and generous sponsors, aren't they, Danny? And they make some of the best racing rigs around.
Yeah, GamePod. I mean, these guys, Ash from GamePod, they've been very generous with us. Give us a rig, pretty much a bunch of rigs each year, you know. And again, for free championships, I mean, you get access to this stuff. It's absolutely unbelievable what GamePod has been able to do with us.
Absolutely, that's another thing, yeah, of course, well, we've not mentioned this before, but Touring Pro Series is completely free to take part in. Of course, we have, actually, never know we said that, we have decided to charge for the Thomas Cole Clio Series, but it's €5 for an entry fee of 10 races, so it's not exactly like we're taking money from the poor and giving it to the rich with that one.
So, compared to what else is on the internet, yeah, it's a good deal.
Yeah, exactly, absolutely, and €5 is absolutely nothing at all. That's a couple of pints in this country, and I'm sure many people spend more than that on a regular basis. And for the amount of enjoyment you can get out of the Touring Pro Series, it really is absolutely 200% worth it. So here is the grid for you guys. We lost that fifth place driver on that grid, but I believe that was Simon Kilo in there. So he did demote, actually, Davis, back down to 6th in the end. We missed out, actually, right at the end of that particular qualifying session, as Davis went into 6th, didn't he? But Kilo must have just bumped him down quickly.
Well,
to
that Kilo showing what 9th on here?
He's 9th, isn't he? Who's in that 5th spot then? Oh, it's Adrian Holm. Oh, Adrian Holm is back in 7th. Who was in the 5th spot then? That's confused me completely.
Yeah, we lost a few guys from the server here, I think, for a second. So maybe they're still trying to load back in.
Maybe that 5th place was not anybody at all. That's very strange indeed.
It actually might have been Eunice Ravio, I'm thinking.
Eunice Ravio, yes, it must have been Eunice Ravio. So Eunice Ravio is in that 5th spot position. Anyway, Ringveld on pole position in his debut Touring Pro Series event, by the way, guys. So that's a great performance from the FSR driver. He's also taking part in the Thomas Cole Clio Series. William Levesque is in 2nd place, with Jesper Torbo just behind him. Glatter with an excellent 4th, and his TPS debut also. 5th place for Eunice Ravio, also excellent for him. He's showing an amazing amount of talent now that he's joined THR and got the support of those drivers. His team boss, Toby Davis, is in 6th place, and Adrian Holm is in 7th, and Sergei Yashin is in 8th on his debut for Walk Racing. 9th place, Simon Kilo. 10th place, Michael Mueller. Simon Kilo, of course, the double race winner in the Thomas Cole Clio Series at Brands Hatch, back in 9th for this particular event. Looking forward to seeing what he can produce throughout the rest of this race then. 11th place to Florian Strauss, 2011 champion, of course, and in terms of number of race wins at least, anyway, the most successful Virtual V8 Supercar driver of all time, has taken 6 wins, the next nearest degree from Crooks. Robert Gerdeker is in 12th place. 13th, I think, was Kevin Brent. Yes, he was Kevin Brent.
Yeah.
Yeah, 14th place, Deval Vernice. We didn't actually get a chance to go through the whole grid for you there. We will quickly do it for you now. 16th place, Robert Wiesenmuller. 17th place for Ross McGregor. 18th place for Tristan Clark. 19th place for Eric Strahan. 20th for Matt Richards. 21st, Darren Adams. 22nd, Matteo Ban for DPG Motorsports. Once again, driving for those guys. 23rd, Tommy Oyala for Optimum. 24th, Bruno Ferreira for Walk Racing. 25th, Ben Crooks, who is driving as an independent driver this season. Youngton 26th for THR. 27th was Heinz Petzold, who got married last weekend. So one weekend gets married, the next weekend he drives in the Virtual V8 Supercars. And 28th reached Notenboom, and 29th was Jonathan Ockcliffe, struggling a little bit there in his Optimum Sim Racing Ford. Don't worry, you're not missing any of the action here, because we're going to do the formation lap. Formation lap with a standing start, just like a Formula 1 race, if you're not familiar with that. Then we'll have 39 laps of racing. We also will have pit stops, of course, but none of them are mandatory, so if you somehow do manage to make it home in one stop, then you are allowed to do so, but that's incredibly unlikely, impossible probably, you would say. You'd have to drive like me, really, just to go around the track That's about 5 minutes a lap, and then you'll save enough fuel.
You'd have to get out and push your car. There's the only way to make it happen.
You have to do a mantle at Detroit. So, 2 stops we're definitely going to see here. So, it's also crucial as well for undercut and tyre wear and hold on to those sort of things. So, those 1 or 2 lap differences can really make a huge difference as well. And also, going into those pits, Danny, as well, things often overlooked by drivers. Speeding in the pit lane. This mod is incredibly strict on that.
Yes, that's caught people out the past few years we've had the race here at Melbourne, because I mean these cars are hard to slow down.
As well.
Yes, exactly. And then you got to get all that weight stopped before that pit lane entrance. But you know, the interesting thing looking at this grid here, you're finally seeing the 2 precision cars with a gap here, because we're seeing obviously Rietveld leading, but Kielhoff down in 9th. I think that gives advantage to THR here, with you've got Levike and Talberg lined up right behind Rietveld. I expect those guys to really give Jeffrey some trouble at the start of this race.
Of course, we're talking about that pit speed limit as well, just quickly. It's only 40 kilometers an hour, isn't it, Danny? So if getting it slowed down is a difficulty, and of course, if you do end up with a drive-through penalty, it's even more costly.
Yeah, drive-through penalties, rather, they'll absolutely kill you in this race. And the first pit stop we can expect, the first pit window rally is from lap 12 to 15. I mean, last year we saw a few drivers, probably the wrong move to extend that pit window to lap 15, but usually about lap 12, maybe lap 13 is an optimal pit window. In the second stop, we're looking at from lap 25 to lap 30. Okay, and again, 25 is very early, but maybe there's some guys that can really stretch a fuel cell that long. But expect 2 stops again, lap 13, lap 27, lap 28 maybe, and yeah, again, if you make a mistake through pit lane, the next thing you have to watch out in the pit lane is not only the speed, the entry, but you've got to watch other cars that you're with in your stalls with, because if you time it not right, or you're in there maybe when it's too jam-packed, you could be in some trouble.
So the grid is forming up as we get ready for the start of the Virtual V8 Supercars 2013 season. I'm so excited, I'm walking around my room at home. I'm not sat down in my chair. I better sit down and before I do myself an injury before I'm walking. So I can also see what's going on the screen, but easy as well. Look at Rietveld, he's already angled his car, look at that. He's already angled his car across to the left a little bit, straight at Levesque, who's angled it back across at him. So that should be a very interesting start to the race indeed. If we go quickly on board, he's actually sorting out his... he has got a very angled car there, hasn't he? Look at that.
I think he's diagnosed the issue with the THR cars behind him and wants to make sure to cut those guys off.
Well, it's going to be difficult. It's always better to go straight when you're starting the race rather than go to the side. As the race is about to start, 5 laps are on. And 5 laps are out and away for the 2013 season. That was a long hold, but it's not worth for Rietveld. Levesque is going to go down the inside. Levesque's going to take the lead here, and also going to try and follow through is Torborg, but Rietveld's locked into second place. Levesque leads. It's Rietveld from Torborg, from Rybio, from Davis, Yashin, Holmes, Strauss, and Kilo in 9th. Strauss is up to 8th already. Where has Glatter gone? Glatter has disappeared from the standings here. Not sure what's happened to him, but Rietveld already attacking Levesque into turn 3. He goes through, and he's going to take the lead of the race. Rietveld retakes the lead of the race immediately. He raced no time.
Well, I thought he completely lost that to THR, but way to keep his head cool from the Precision Motorsport drive to retake that lead. Now he's got to get a gap to these THR cars behind, because you know William, he's tasted blood. He wants that first place, and he's not going to let Rietveld just walk away with this thing too easily. And
so Rietveld...
Yeah, sorry to interrupt here. So, Sasha Glatter was in a bit of a scuffle to be in that turn 1. He's falling back to 27. Yeah.
So let's quickly try and see if we can see if any damage on Glatter's car. We've got Matti Orban, also with big damage. He's got a puncher, a big puncher. Matti Orban going straight off into the gravel there. So Glatter's been involved. So 3 cars hugely affected by that. Matt Richards also missing the front clip of his car
that's a shame.
as well. But Glatter looks like his car's not too... They're saying it looks like it's not too bad, but not quite sure what's happened to his car here.
Maybe some
there looks to be no visible damage at all. Perhaps he's just an angry right foot. But back through the middle of the field now. Offen's had a great start to the race, qualified right at the back. He's up to 20th already. He's under a big attack here from Darren Adams, and Darren just about pulls out of that move at the last second. Adams runs wide, and South Ferro's got back past that group also as well. June's had a good start as well, from 26th to 18th. He tries to go down the inside of Tommy Oyala, who chops him off unceremoniously, it has to be said. And now, here is Eric Strawn. He's not a great start to the race. He's in 16th, and Solo's ahead of him with Clark and Gerdica just up the road also as well. McGregor's in 12th. Kilo's back to 11th, so he's not a good start to the race at all. Right, Venice has pretty much held station. Oh, who's off the track there?
Who's that?
Kilo off the track. Kilo off the track, and the wall slightly as well. Was that also Strawn off the track as well? It was.
Yeah, I think it was.
That looked like two separate incidents to me.
Oh, I saw the spinning car of Strawn who just went wide out, just went straight up the track in turn 1. I must have got into Kilo up there. Oh, that's not good for precision.
Oh, he got hit very hard indeed. Who was that hitting Kilo? That was Ross McGregor.
Wow.
Ross McGregor has absolutely smashed the back of Simon Kilo's car. Not quite sure what's gone on there, but that's an incredible situation. That's completely missed his braking point into that corner, look.
That's a very uncharacteristic mistake by Ross McGregor.
It is.
Who's very tight in easy out there.
It's completely missed his braking point. Not sure what on earth happened there. And he had a bit of a equipment failure or something.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, because he didn't even touch the brake until he got back a Kilo.
Wow, that was crazy stuff there. Maybe it wasn't even Strawn that was off the track. Maybe it was just McGregor that we saw.
Yeah. And we saw ice cold car. I'm assuming now it was Ross.
Yeah, so Ross back to 23rd place, back at the front of the field. Let's get back to the front of the field for you. There we are. Rietveld has opened up a big lead already. 1.3 seconds.
Wow.
But bear in mind, tyres. Levesque and Torborg have the experience of the tyres. Looks like actually Levesque's made a small mistake in this lap as well, because Torborg is catching up. Rietveld is streaking away right now, looking very ominous indeed.
Yeah, this is exactly what THR didn't want. They need to be in a position where they can use their number, because you've got 3 against 1. But I mean, it doesn't matter if Rietveld can just keep the lap pace to hold off Levitt, who's now almost a second and a half up the road from last year's second placement.
2 seconds already. That's the end of lap 3. So Rietveld's really going for it in the opening stages here, trying to break the will and the willpower of Levesque and Torborg, but it takes a little bit more than that. You have to get up very early in the morning to break the willpower of Levesque and Torborg.
Yeah, I mean, so right now I think you named it. It's now going to be a tire conservation battle at the front. I mean, Will and the THR guys have to get in formation, get in the draft, and just start saving those tires.
There'll be in furious contact with each other also as well in the team speak as well. Levesque, Torborg and Davis all running line astern, as it were. Yashin is up to 5th place. Great start to the race for him. Rivio's dropped back to 6th, only dropped 1 position, so it's not disastrous. Holm has also dropped 1 position also as well, but he's right in that pack, and he's in good company. Yashin, Rivio, Holm, and Strauss, and Mueller, and Venice, and Gerdica not far behind, just trying. He's just clinging onto the coattails of that pack ahead.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with the No Limit guys. They qualified 9th and 11th, and right now they're sitting in 9th and 11th, which is a very tough thing to hold your position and handle the nerves after start such a big event. So those guys have done very well to just come into TPS and hold it together like this.
So it's a great start to the race for Strauss also as well, of course. He's gone up from 11th to 8th. I'm not sure if it was that he didn't look like one of his rear lights wasn't working there, but of course the particular screen we have to look at, Danny, is not the clearest, so we have to often just make up things.
Yeah, and Strauss, he was the guy I was just about to talk about, because we talked about him before the race started, about how his qualifying pace might not have been there, but the minute the green lights go on, here we go with Strauss. He's up to 8th. Like I said, he's done a lot of work on keeping his tires under him, and now obviously the control tire is going to help him out. We'll see if he can continue to get up the grid here and where he's at by the time we reach that pit window.
So Levesque is 0.4 of a second lost on that lap once again, so pulling away definitely from there. Now Venice had lost a little bit of ground in that final sector, allowing Gerdica to just get a sniff of the draft also. But all holding station at the moment, as is often the case in V8 Supercars, they're all very, very closely matched, and therefore it's difficult to make a pass as well. And making a pass in these is a skill in itself because of those difficult breaks.
Yes, it's all the passing always gets done on the brakes, because the thing about these cars when it comes to setting them up, you have to you can really play around. Oh, if we're seeing Kilo trying to get back through the field here.
I'm much faster than you guys. Get out of my way.
He doesn't have much
patience.
That's
pretty much that attitude there. And that bit of door bashing has ended up in a bit of unfortunate slide there for Oyala. So Oyala lost out in that particular exchange.
Yeah, Keeloff knows what he has to do here because he knows the THR guys are both at the top of the grid. He needs to get up to support Rietveld so Precision can get a nice bag of points through round 1. And Rietveld, you can see him just pushing on the grass there.
I've never seen anybody get on the grass through that particular section. There's no need at all, really. But he must be furious in that car because he's back in the pack through absolutely no fault of his own.
He's certainly going to have some words about what the heck Ross McGregor was doing there and what happened to McGregor under braking. And we're seeing it. Look at Keeloff being so squirrely under braking. I wonder if there's a little suspension damage maybe on that car, or he just has maybe the brake bias.
Well, that's always
really
been all those Danish drivers styles in. There's no Sorensen, Kilo, and Morrison. Whenever you see them before, they always seem to squirm under the brakes because of their karting background.
So, the way you can set these cars up, like I was saying, you can put very even brake bias, or rather more rearward brake bias, and it lets you to really kind of do some interesting stuff under braking, like I guess maybe trail brake a little bit more than some other guys, and we'll see as you see the car gets sideways like that.
Absolutely ragging the car at the moment. I'm not sure that's the best policy because these tyres will just disappear from underneath you. They will not take that kind of abuse.
See, that's the thing. William Levike was saying that these cars, you can lose a lot of time at the end of your stints if you just completely destroy these tires. Because
they go over the cliff, don't they? They hit a cliff.
People think just because they control and they're harder, they'll stay on forever, but that's just not the case. And Keeloff, he's going to have to watch himself if he continues to drive like this.
Because he's driving like that, he's not even gaining on the guy ahead also. So he's not being. It's not profitable for him right now to be pushing that hard. He's not gaining, hand over fist on Davy Jones ahead.
No, I mean maybe Keeloff is a little used to maybe driving the Clios right now because he took a double win in TOCC just a few days
and off
ago,
the track has gone Mueller. So Mueller's made the mistake, and Venice has gone through, and so has his teammate Robert Gerdeker. So Mueller has gone down the order. Here it is a replay of that incident under the trees. It's a tricky braking zone.
Yeah, if you mess this one up, you just got a little sideways. Just took it in a little too deep, goes on the gravel there, or the sand rather, and his teammate goes right through.
He didn't lose his head at all, did he? He kept his cool, kept his foot in it, and made sure he came out the other side without going into the path of another driver also well. So that's sensible driving from Michael, although he's lost himself two positions which are difficult to get back.
Yeah, and you're seeing Salo up, he was down to 12th we saw. And Salo, I think, where did he start? Just outside the top 15? Or I don't think he did that well through quali. But
very lonely lap right now.
Yeah, so far, I mean, he's doing okay to get up the grid, so that's exactly what Optimum need at this point.
Very close now with Strauss and Holm. Strauss and Holm Strauss seems to have a little bit more pace than Holm, of course, finding that way past is a bit difficult.
Yeah, this is not what Strauss wanted. I guess you probably wanted to get up a little further up the grid before you got into a big battle like this. But so far, Adrian Holm is really good this afternoon, and I think he's going to have a hard time getting around the ice cold racing for what is his 7th position.
How much? Oh, here we go. I thought it was going to be a bit of a run there from Strauss, but didn't quite get the perch. But how much of a factor is it that you end up just driving the same pace as the guys around you if you're in this kind of pack? You lose a couple of tenths here and there because you're stuck behind them.
It's very frustrating for one, and like you said, these V8s run so close together, especially on a track like Melbourne. Sometimes it can be very hard to find an overtake, and sometimes it's just what you got to do. I expect once we get into the pit window that you're going to see maybe a guy like Strauss duck in early, maybe a lap 12, so you can maybe try to undercut somebody like Holm, because it's a huge thing, the undercut, which can gain you even as much as 2 to 3 seconds if it's done properly.
So Strauss leads. Strauss is at the back of this pack now. Made a small mistake there also as well. So he's not exactly comfortable at the back of that pack. So it's not a case of him being held up at all, really. So let's go back through the story of the race quickly for you at the moment. Lap 6, we are of 39 at the moment. Plenty of time to go. About halfway we are to the end of the first stint. Rietveld leads by 4 seconds from Levette. Levette took the lead at the first corner. Rietveld took it straight back again at turn 3 and has pulled away ever since. Torborg held station in 3rd place behind his teammate and championship rival of last year, William Levette. 4th place with Toby Davis, team leader, dropping back now a little bit from the drivers ahead. Now back to the pack behind, the battle pack behind with Yashin, Raivio, Holm and Strauss. Those 4 drivers all very close indeed. But Thibaut Venice has dropped back from that group. That used to be an 8-strong group, but now it's split into a 7-strong group, should I say. It's now split into a 4 and a 3, and it's Venice being followed by the 2 no limit cars that you see there. And Rasmus Salo in 12th place, very lonely indeed. Clark in 13th, Strahl in 14th. Kilo finding his way back through 15th. He's got past Jump 16th. 17th place for Darren Adams. 18th place in Nauyala. A bit lonely also as well. And lonely as well is Brunislaus Ferreira and Robert Wiesemuller. I'm sure Wiesemuller would have liked to have done a bit better here at the moment. Ross McGregor is recovering back to 21st after that inexplicable moment really into the first turn. Heinz Petzold is in 22nd. Newly wed Heinz Petzold also driving on a temporary internet connection at the moment as well, so he's done very well to even be here. All kinds of obstacles in his life at the moment to stop him sim racing, but such as his love for sim racing, he is not daunted at all by that. Moving house, getting married, no internet, he's still here. Ben Crooks in 23rd. 24th is Reese Notenboom, just behind Ben Crooks. They, of course, those two were very well matched back in World Touring Masters Season 1, and now they're very well matched once again near the rear of the field, unfortunately for those guys. Kevin Brents is having a terrible race at the moment, back in 25th position. The car looks like it's evil, trying to bite his head off every time he touches the throttle at the moment, and he qualified 13th, he's back in 25th right now, so something has majorly gone wrong for him. 26th is Jonathan Ockerlin, 27th is Sasha Glatter. Glatter has not made any progress at all towards catching up the rest of the field. Maybe he's been into the pits at some point. That would make sense because he's even further off, if that's possible, than he was in the opening exchanges. When Matt Richards got damaged early on, so did Mate Orban there. Matt Richards is not quite a lap down, but Mate Orban is.
Adrian Holm just got around Eunice Ravio here for 6th place, so now Strauss is going to try to get into this battle here.
Oh, Ravio didn't look like being passed and has pushed Holm out of the way through there, and Strauss now has to run off the corner on Ravio. He'll be a brave man to make a move down here, though, without a full overlap. And Ravio has the advantage of the slipstream as well, of course, from Holm ahead of him. Will Strauss make the move? He does not make the move. He ducks back in.
That was very sensible there. That was very sensible about Strauss, because you cannot go too wide through that opening corner. And the thing we're about to see here, Ryan, because now we're on lap 8 here, now the tires start to come into play, because these next 5 laps where you have to dig toward that pit stop is when we're going to see who's better at managing these tires as opposed to the other drivers.
So Rietveld, the gap between Rietveld and Levesque is slowing down in its growth, but it's still, it's still growing slowly but surely. 4.6 seconds now is that gap, and we've got about 6 laps to go until lap 13, which is the logical end of the first pit stop. But of course, some people may even pit as early as lap 11, depending on what kind of position they're in right now. Strauss having difficulties in that corner, isn't he? He's beginning out of shape under braking quite a bit. But Rivo seems to be struggling a little bit now also as well. He's dropping back from Hull. Perhaps those tyres are coming into play.
Yes, exactly. I think that's exactly what we're looking at here with Ravio. He's losing touch with the tires. That's how Holm got around. Let's see if Strauss can... Oh, he's right on the back of Ravio. If he can get a nice run out here, time the exit, then he's got Ravio here for 7th. And no, Ravio gets a nice run out that corner, and he gets away from Strauss yet again.
Of course, Ravio is not very experienced in these cars at all. This is his first Virtual V8 Supercars race, and he qualified extremely well, pre-qualified extremely well as well also. But of course, the simplistic view to take is that he's young, he's taking the life out of the tyres, but he seems to recover a little bit from that.
Yeah, I expected Strauss to get around, and then Ravio just kind of fall like a stone to the top 10, but he's holding his own right now, and I think he'll be able to survive this first stint here.
So Thibaut Vanace is still holding on to that 9th place, just ahead of the 2 no-limit cars, who seem to be getting closer and closer to the back of the Frenchman. In fact, the only Frenchman in the field. I think the only Frenchman in the whole 2 divisions. Those people who don't know about that, we have 2 divisions running at the same time, so 60 drivers race all at the same time. Division 2 drivers earn less points, but there is an overlap in points between the 2 divisions, so if you do well in Division 2, you can then get into Division 1 for the following events. That's how the relegation and promotion system works at the Touring Pro Series. The same for the Thomas O'Cole Clearer Series, if you were around to listen to that. So Levesque is still losing ground to Jeffrey Rietveld, 5.4 seconds now, and the gap is extending further and further lap by lap. Seems like Rietveld is not only going quickly, but also holding on to those tyres, and it's a phenomenal performance right now from the Dutchman.
I am absolutely impressed by Rietveld here. We all knew he had pace going into this thing. I mean, he won pre-quali. The thing is, though, how he's just kind of stormed away from Levick. It's utterly surprising because Levick made such a name over his tire conservation, and
Strauss, sorry to interrupt, Strauss is dropping back through the fields. It's down at that turn again. We were talking about it earlier. It's down at this turn. Here we are. A little bit of lag there, sorry for that, but that's that turn where he's made the mistake. We saw he was making mistakes on the brakes, and it's caught him out. He's now back to 11.
It's completely come undone here for 360 Racing. First, they had the trouble in the opening lap, and now Strauss is running in the and Glatter, I'm sorry, had trouble in the opening lap, and now we're seeing Strauss falling apart a little bit here by lap 9.
Glatter is keeping pace pretty much with the leader at the moment, so I can see the gap. It's pretty much the same as we saw earlier, and he's gaining, of course, now on Brent and Ockenden as a result as well. But Strauss struggling here, and now it's the 3 Germans in a row here. So Mueller and Strauss, the 2 drivers gone off the track that we've seen so far from the top guys, and it's Venice who's leading, and then 3 Germans right in behind. Gödicke, Mueller and Strauss are all pursuing the Frenchman.
Yeah,
I'm sure Strauss will take kindly to be upstaged by No Limit. I've seen them race against each other before in endurance racing, 360 racing versus No Limit racing, and 360 usually come out on top with a little bit more fragility, one would say.
Well, the thing about Bernice, he's held off this No Limit train for at least 5 laps now, and he's not budging. He's doing very well to hold the pace in front of 2 cars that have done a good job to stay inside the top 10.
I remember this is his debut in the Touring Pro Series. Has never raced in the Touring Pro Series in any kind of category at all, so he's definitely chosen a baptism of fire with these particular cars, but hanging on gamely right now to the back of that car and driving extremely well indeed. As you see, that is the lap car of Mate Orban, who's struggling around the track at the moment, having a miserable afternoon, having come into contact at that opening lap. We didn't see quite what happened, but it involved Richards and Glatter also, it seemed. Back in front of the field, Rietveld still 6.1 seconds now from Leveck, and Leveck can't even see him on track at the moment. That's how far ahead Rietveld is, and that's always discouraging. When you can see your opponents, it's encouraging. When you can't see them, it's extremely discouraging. 4th place is Toby Davis, and 5th place is Sugashin. Sorry, Danny.
Oh yeah, and THR, they were a bit flabbergasted about how Precision could keep their tires together in Tom Alonso Clio Series so well. And again, you know, their engineers have got to be watching this race thinking, how the heck are Precision able to do this? I mean, again, they are beating us in lap pace, tire conservation, and racecraft even. So, so far, THR got a lot of questions to answer about what it is that Precision is doing out here.
Oh, and look, Gödicke's made a mistake. He's back to 12th place. Gödicke has made a mistake, and he's now conceded that position to both Mueller, Strauss, and Sarlo. So something's happened to Gödicke. See if I find that on the replay. I'm not sure we're going to be able to. It seemed like it was that. Yes, here it is. Here it is. Oh, and he made contact with the back of Venice, it looked like. Too late on the brakes. Hit the back of Venice. Oh, and into the wall as well. So, a very dangerous position for the track as well. So Gödicke did very well indeed to not even take anybody out at all. He gets going once again. He almost decided to wait for Kilo, decided not to in the end. But back in live action now, and he's having big contact with Kilo as well. Let's catch up the replay as well as we go into turn 4. Fast forward it for you guys. And now here comes Kilo down the inside. Oh, out of control almost. He was out of control. I'm sure Gödicke won't be too impressed by that. But of course, in many ways, only has himself to blame for dropping back so you know, because of that mistake.
Yeah, I mean, and right up to 5th position, Sergei Yashin is now being pulled in by Adrian Holm. And again, Adrian Holmes looked very impressive here. I mean, now, maybe the tires are now coming into play. Adrian has got these tires under control. Is now trying to take back that 5th position.
Oh, pushing hard indeed.
Yeah, I mean, he can still push the car. Usually, if you cook the tires, when you push like that, you're sideways. So Adrian still has a bit.
Well, look at the gap that Yashin and Holm have pulled over Rivio. We were talking about that earlier, weren't we? Said Rivio maybe has damaged his tyres, and he's dropping back into clutches of perhaps Venice and Mueller and Strauss once again.
I think what helped Rivio is that Strauss fell back from him, so that's taken away the pressure.
But he's lost a lot of ground to the guys ahead, hasn't he? He was right with these guys, of course.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't have the tire conservation of Holm or even Yashin at this point, but we'll see how he can
anybody
turn
pick
it
this
around.
time around? This is lap 11, these are lap 12.
Still too early, Ryan. I think maybe next lap we'll see maybe 1 or 2 people duck in, but probably lap 13, I'm assuming.
Let's have a quick look through the field, see if anybody dives into the pits. There's Yuntz in 16th place. He's had a good race actually in the end, 16th place. As they tended to do actually, in fact. Ross McGregor's 17th, solid so far. But he must have quite a bit of damage as well, of course, from hitting Kilo early on. Beats Miller in 19th, 20th place for South Ferro. Doesn't come to the pits. Neither does Petzl, neither does Clark. Ben Crooks. So he might want to come to the pits after that kind of shenanigan off the track. And makes a small mistake and now allows Norton Boom and Brent to close right up on those guys. And Brent, he's having a bit of a ragged afternoon, it has to be said. Ocker Clint and Glatter has also quit from the race. Like any particular reason for that, so it could just be a case of he's had enough with his particular afternoon, which never the greatest attitude to have, but of course we don't know the exact circumstances that he might have had a disconnection. Levesque's 6.1 seconds, behind Rietveld, and that will be helping Levesque gain some ground back.
Yeah, Levesque's got to get his head down here, because I think he's taken maybe a few tenths off of Rietveld this past lap. If he can just maybe cut that gap, maybe 5 seconds, give him some type of reason for optimism going into this pit stop, maybe he can get himself together for this middle part of the race.
There's Rietveld getting plenty of air over that curb through that section, but it didn't seem too perturbed by it. The car came down pretty quickly in the end, actually. It didn't even run wide either, so that was also got that car very, very well set up indeed.
Almost looked like it was according to plan right there.
So the gap is going to be, as he crosses the line now, Levesque is going to be 5.9 seconds, so he can gain 0.4 of a second, so yes, gain 0.4 of a second through that final sector, of course, where that error occurred. So lap 13, drivers going on to now. Anybody coming in lap 12? No. Well, look at Kilo all over the track at the moment. Gerdy right behind him. It must be very off-putting for Gerdy to actually try to follow that kind of car.
With Levesque now gaining a little bit on the leader here, maybe the Precision Brain Trust might want to get on the horn here with Rietveld and get him in lap 13, because he doesn't want to lose any more time to Levesque, obviously.
So back at the front of the field, 5.9 seconds is that gap. It's still 5.9 seconds to that first sector also as well. This is lap 13. This is the third of the way through the race where people will be expected to pit with a two-stop strategy, so look out for that.
Yeah, expect from now to lap 15 is where we're going to see you guys. Again, I don't expect to see anyone extend their stint to lap 15, but again, you never know sometimes. I mean, because I think in particular it was Eric Strawn, the guy we're watching, and no, this is, Adrian Holm, I'm sorry. Eric Strawn, I think he was one of the guys that extended his gap, or his stint to lap 15, and didn't turn out too well. So it's not really had a good track record, going to lap 15, so expect guys this lap or the next lap to make their pits.
So Rietveld wasn't going to go to a quick ad break there, but Rietveld's going to maybe make his pit this time around. Tristan Clark has been into the pit, so now you can see he came on lap 12 and he's now gone out once again. And I think Rietveld is coming in this time around because he's absolutely ragging those tyres as hard as he can, knowing he's getting rid of them in just a few short meters. And
there it is, yep.
Here comes Rietveld. So Rietveld pits from sliding the car, beautifully drifting the car through these corners and gets the car just about quite early, actually, in fact, for that particular section. Levesque right on the money, actually. That was, he may have gained, a half a second, maybe, with that.
Yeah, and all the THR guys are in, so it seems like everyone's got the same strategy in mind. Pit on lap 13.
So Davison also got, and Yashin, and Holm, and Rivio.
It's getting swamped down the pit lane here. A ton of cars coming in from the lead. Yeah, and everyone's got to watch themselves now on the exit here, make sure not to bump into anybody, because that could definitely
cripple someone's race. I wonder if that's a small gap that Levesque's got there, back to. But Venice hasn't. Venice may have come to the pits, actually. In fact, I don't know if anybody's not coming to the pits. Oh, there goes Yunt. He's gone long.
Kielov just went past. He's through. It's Vernice and Kielov, Yunt, are your top three right now.
You see a very, very busy pit lane right now, as there goes Mueller out of the pits also as well. There goes Strauss. Here comes Sarlo. And that's Eric Strawn just back there also as well. Very confusing actually for us.
Well, the gap between
Eric Strawn and Holm.
Sorry for the interruption.
Sorry, go ahead.
Rietveld and Levesque, the gap's been pulled down to only 3 seconds. I mean, so Levesque made up a huge amount of time through that pit.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw how cautious he was. Gerdica, how is Gerdica come out in the same area as the leaders? Has he not been into the pits?
I think
I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, we're going to have to keep up with this. 'Cause I think Gertica did go in, if I'm not mistaken, but I have a hard time thinking he's made
no,
this type
there's
of...
no
yeah,
way he could come out. No, he must not have gone into the pits, and that won't be helping Levesque at all.
His
And
last
as you said, the
time-
gap is 3.3 seconds.
Yeah, the
Oh, it's
last lap...
1.3. It's 1.3 seconds there.
Wow.
1.3 seconds is the gap. So Levesque, just through more aggressive approach and more, more preparation in approaching the pit lane, and God, Gertica is really compromising the race for us right now. Really, we should get out of the way. Oh, no! He's the back of him hard as well. He's just got a bit too heads up in that car and pushing a bit too hard, trying to get Gertica out of the way.
What
of
is
course,
going on
we
with
do want
Gertica?
that to happen because there's a race to go on here, but of course Gertica is perfectly entitled to be out of track by himself doing his lone laps, and that's just the unfortunate occurrence for Levesque to be behind him.
Last lap for Gertica was a 2:07, so I'm not sure.
So maybe Gertica did come to the pit.
Yeah, maybe he did pit. I don't know what's going on here.
So
Because he's certainly not giving away to Levesque. We'll see here. Is he going?
Oh,
he's
he comes
going
in now.
Wow.
Oh, so that's maybe had a mistake on the last lap. It's very strange stuff indeed. But
Yes.
Gertica is into the pits anyway. rFactor takes the lead of the race once again. Levesque just in behind. Gap is 2.9 seconds is the gap. So even though he was 1.2, he lost 1.7 of course behind Gertica, which shows, doesn't it, how much you can lose behind a car with slower tyres.
Levesque is not going to be happy after that whatsoever.
He's not, but the gap, but he's still gained 3 seconds through that pit stop, so he has to try and push a bit harder in this particular stint. Maybe he's made some changes to the air pressures, maybe a bit more aggressive with his driving style. Whatever it is, he needs to make some kind of issue. And Davis has been in the pits once again, and I believe that probably for a drive-through.
Yeah, Davis
because he's back to 12th place now.
Yeah, and you see Keelov now in front of Davis. Keelov into the top 10, so that's very well for Precision. And see, now Precision and Keelov have done exactly what they need to do. They're in front of that second THR car, and so I guess now, advanced Precision for the remainder of this race.
Well, they're ahead of the third THR car, of course, not ahead of Torborg just
Well,
yet. So
the thing is about THR, and they did this move, I'm kind of questioning why. They put Levesque in a different branch of THR as opposed to Tallberg. So it's pretty much THR's main team is Tallberg and Davis instead of Tallberg, Levesque. So now, I think Precision have done what they need to do and get in front of that, and get in front of Toby Davis here.
That's absolutely correct when you put it in those terms, of course, definitely. Strana, I think, has gained out of these pit stops. He's up to 11th place. Let's just try and work out who the movers and shakers are here. Levesque is losing time once again to rFactor, who's just absolutely mothering his car around this track at the moment. And I think he's driving a different circuit at the moment to some of these other drivers. Definitely a corner or two missing for him. But rFactor and Levesque, so they've held station. Torborg is in third. Holmes now in fourth place. He's got ahead of Yashin and of course ahead of Davis, who's dropped down to 12th. So Holmes gained 2 positions out of that. Yashin's still in 5th place. Fastest lap of the race there for Jeffrey Rietveld, as if to hammer home his dominance at the moment. 6th place is Thibaut Vanier, so he's gained also as well. He's gone up a couple of positions in the order as well. Mueller's up to 7th, so he's gained. So has Strauss, despite the fact these two have had problems in the race. Sarle's really gained. From 12th to 9th he's gone. Kilo's really gained. He was back in 14th, I believe, up to 10th. Strana's gained as well. He was just behind Kilo, I think. He's now still just behind him as well. Davis has dropped all the way from 4th to 12th. Yunt has gone from 16th to 13th, continues his ascendancy through this race. He's gone through half of the positions that he qualified in. 14th place down Adams, he's gained as well. Gerdica's really lost out, back in 15th place. 16th place for Tommy Oyala, pretty much where he was before. 17th place also for Ross McGregor, again holding station, as has Wiesenmüller. But the biggest loser, I would say, is going to be Eunice Rivio, back in 21st position.
Oh yeah, Eunice. Remember, he was top. He was, I think, 7th before those pits. And so now to be down this low, maybe we missed a drive-through penalty because even Toby's in front of him.
So he must have had a drive-through, and maybe he did the drive-through wrong. Been in the pits twice. We didn't see. But whatever it is, it's turned very sour for Rivio. But that's the other side of sim racing, isn't it, Danny? You've got everyone goes on about got to get the start right, got to get my lap times right, got to keep the tyres in me. But it's the little things, isn't it? Slowing down for the pits quickly enough, recognizing what kind of penalty it is that you've been issued.
Exactly. Sometimes it boils down to dotting the I's and crossing the T's, the absolute basics. Because we're looking at Toby, for example, who was a top 5 driver, not sitting in 12s, because he made a simple mistake. You know.
Yeah.
And now we're looking at Bravio.
And it's the easy mistakes that cost you the most.
Yes. Sometimes it's that little thing that you take for granted that can completely cripple your race, like we're seeing here today.
And sometimes it's just down to a complete, lapse concentration. You're just not thinking he's going to the pit lane. I've got to get my pit strategy right. I'm into the pit lane. Right, slow down. Oh no, I've sped. Oh no, what penalty have I got? Oh no. And I'm thinking as I go around the rest of the circuit, I can't think what. Oh, I've all gone wrong. Your head's completely gone by that point.
Of course, and we saw the lapse of concentration at the first half of this race with Ross McGregor. I mean, we thought it was equipment malfunction, but I think he just missed his pit marker.
Yeah.
I mean, his braking marker. I mean, it just happens sometimes.
So Reese Notenboom's been in the pits twice as well, so maybe he sped also. So we're seeing once again this track bites with the speeding penalties because you approach that line so quickly. And it's only 40 kilometers an hour you get it slowed down to, which is about 27 miles an hour for those who were working in miles an hour. It's not very fast at all in these cars, which are obviously weigh 1.5 tons. They've got 650 brake horsepower. They haven't got carbon brakes. They've only got steel brakes, and the tyres aren't the grippiest in the world. They're not the sprint tyres anymore. And you approach the pit lane around about 150 kilometers an hour as you come round that pit lane, that little bit of a straight before you get to the line. So it really is a very tricky. You're not thinking, what are these drivers doing, getting all these all these pit speed limit, pit speed penalties. But it's actually incredibly easy to do in these particular cars, especially first race of the season. You're thinking too much about your pace and where you are on the field, and those things that come naturally don't come naturally.
It's certainly something to be mindful of. I know when I drove last year, all through warm-up, all I would do is just come around and practice my pit entrance. But this battle we're watching right here, I've been tracking them for a few laps. It looks like Strauss is the fastest of these two cars, but Muller has done very well to hold off the 2011 champion. But I think it's only a matter of time before Strauss gets around. But
I'm very impressed by Michael Muller because he's had a great qualifying session. Pre-practice session wasn't great at all. Back in 15th, wasn't he?
Yep,
he got a top 10 in his, a 9th place in his qualifying session. Has made a small mistake early on, but has not lost his head like a couple of other people would lose their heads and push a bit too hard. Oh, I've made the mistake now. Oh, it's all gone wrong. But he's not. He's kept his head like the Teutonic German he is, I guess. And he's now up in 7th place. This guy pre-qualified in 33rd. He wasn't even assured of being in this particular race, and he's up in 7th.
You took the words out of my mouth, Ryan, because Michael Muller has really impressed me. I mean, I really thought Robert Dodica would be the faster of the no-limit drivers,
absolutely.
But Michael's come out right here, and looks like he's got a chance maybe even take away a top 5, because you know what, I thought Strauss was going to get around, but he's actually keeping a nice gap to Florian, the car behind.
So 0.9 of a second between those guys. There's no big battles out on track at the moment, actually, as is often the case just after a pit stop. And Kilo is in 10th place, pulling away now from Strawn, who's just been passed by Toby Davis. And Toby Davis is marching up through the field, passes Strawn for 11th place into that turn 3 complex. Just saw it just in the background. And I'm not sure what's happened to Strawn, actually. He's not got the greatest pace in this particular race, especially not what we saw at the back end of last season, at least.
Yeah, and this actually creates an interesting dynamic because you have Toby Davis going to be challenging Keeloff, and we talked about this this little inter-team battle. It's pretty much precision against THR, and I think Toby obviously being one of the team bosses of THR, he knows what's at stake. He knows he's got to go get Keeloff to help THR come out with the edge in the points after this race.
And I'm very good friends with Toby, and I know that he will be absolutely furious with himself for the pit speed violation. And
yeah, because THR, they were walking out of here with first place in the Constructors' Championship. Now, because of Toby's mistake, they've got some work to do.
Yeah, right behind Simon Kilo. So it's they're actually running line astern on track at the moment, the two Precision and two THR orange cars. For those who are wondering what on earth we're talking about, in the championship you are only allowed, just like in normal championship, in real life motorsports, you're only allowed two cars to score for one team in the team's championship. Although, of course, some organisations are bigger than others. THR, for example, have around about, I think, 7 cars in this particular event, but they all drive for different teams in terms of the championship standings, although they're all, of course, part of the THR stable. So Toby's driving THR Orange alongside with Jesper Torbo. That's the point-scoring team for them. Whereas Levesque's driving THR Red, obviously being in that red livery. He's driving alongside with Kevin Brent for the point-scoring championship. Right now, Kilo and Rietveld are, of course, scoring for position. And just in behind Kilo and Rietveld is the THR Orange duo of Levesque and Davis. So they're losing doubly at the moment. And hopefully, we're hoping to see Toby Davis catch up to Kilo. And he's doing just that right now, isn't he? He's actually catching hand over fist.
Yeah, he's the faster car right here. I mean, I'm wondering if Kilo had maybe a little bit of damage after, Ross McGregor shunted him from the back. So I think
would have thought so.
Yeah.
It was a huge impact at the back of the car, and also he clipped the car, clipped the wall at the far end as well. Restart was into the pits once again.
Yeah,
not quite sure what's happened in Dutchman, but yeah, Kilo must have had at least aero damage from that, all of that.
Oh yeah, you can definitely tell because Toby's just walking up to the back of him. I think it's only a matter of time here for the THR car goes through. But since we're on teams right now, the only other team that have two of their cars inside the top 10 is Walk Racing. These guys have done very well with Vernice and Sergei Yashin. I mean, Karadar Andrei Bogdan, who is the team boss of Walk Racing, he's going to be absolutely thrilled with this. Because, Walk Racing, they're saying, hey, we're going to have a hand in play for this Constructors' Championship as well.
And these guys, of course, are relative rookies in the Touring Pro Series. Yeah. He actually has done just one race, 2 races in fact, actually. He did start the Barbagala race before being caught up in some kind of accident where somebody kind of reversed on the grid, Danny Asprey.
I have no idea who did that?
Sergei Yashin. Well, he was very ill that day also as well, so you took him out, and he was also very ill, so he decided enough was enough for that particular day. And he was very ill again, and work and illness got in the way, and he didn't manage to do the rest of the 2012 season, but he returned 2013 with absolute vengeance to be 5th place, and Thibaut Venice, nobody knew about him whatsoever. Who is this French guy? And but he's absolutely doing a brilliant job. He's in 5th place, he's in 6th place, holding off Mueller, holding off Strauss, a 2011 champion, and doing a superb job. And these two, by the way, are teamed up. There are a couple of Walk Racing, a few Walk Racing teams out there. You might have seen Bruno Sousa Ferreira early on, who had the same livery. I'll just quickly show you him, actually. There we go. Bruno Sousa Ferreira, there he is. Going down the straight now. He's got the same livery. But it is Venice and Yashin who are teamed up in the main team for Karamidara Bogdan's Walk Racing team. So he's clearly got that particular piece of judgment absolutely right. But talking about judgment and pairing drivers up, at the moment, Toby Davis is coming for quite a bit of stick from the rest of his drivers for not teaming Levesque and Torborg up. Levesque's teamed up with Brent, and it seems like right now the drivers have got that absolutely right.
It's something that I noticed at the start of the championship, and I quite frankly, I scratched my head when I saw it. It's not that anyone doubts Toby Davis. He's one of the greatest drivers TPS has ever seen. The problem is I think Toby might be stretching himself a little too thin at the time. He's in Virtual Minis, he's in Tom also Clio series, now he's in Virtual V8. I think it might be a little too much for the THR co-boss here.
Just doing the Clios is too much for me. So, but of course, Davis will return with the riposte of, as we see, just flashing lights at Orban to send his appreciation out for letting him through. But Davis will respond with a couple of ripostes. First of all, Davis and Torborg won the championship last season together, THR Orange. They are the reigning team's champions. Second of all, he will argue it's better to put together 2 strong teams rather than 1 strong team.
Here's the thing. I'm not taking away from Tallberg and Davis pairing. It's actually the only pairing in TPS history.
Oh, sorry to interrupt, but we have a change for second place. Levesque has made a big mistake somewhere, and has lost some 8 seconds at some point. Oh, not going to get any replay at all about that. No chance of that, unfortunately. But he's dropped way back. The pressure has told.
Wow, he's lost even 6 seconds to his teammate Jasper Tallberg. So something major happened for Levesque. He could even have damage. I mean, if he hit the wall, if something like that happened. But
looks like he's run wide somewhere to me, because it doesn't seem to be any. Looking at the car now, doesn't seem to be particular damage. Yeah. Looks okay. So just a mistake, and that will be hurting Levesque's pride. So bullish and so confident coming into this race, but he's now behind even the reigning champion.
Yeah, it has
Torborg. He's had a very quiet race, by the way.
has not gone well for Levitt. Well, I can't say at all. He's still sitting on a podium in V8. But I mean, he started off so strong. Looked like he took the lead of this race. Rietveld got the position back, and it simply kind of put Levitt in his place for the rest of this race so far.
Well, he set the tone, hasn't he, for the championship almost, Rietveld. I'm here, William, and you might have been the fastest driver towards the end of last season, but I'm here, and I'm here to win this championship. Do what you can.
Certainly for round 2, THR is going to have to re-scheme exactly what it's going to take to get these cars going under race conditions, because, at this point, Rietveld is in another class.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to just take a quick break from the action here as we are about halfway through the second stint of the race. 17 laps to go. We'll be right back with you in just a few moments' time. Enjoy these videos.
GamePod, the ultimate race rig for those serious about sim racing, puts you in the driver's seat with all the controls at your fingertips. Be number 1 on the road, in the race, in the game. GamePod, the choice of champions.
Hello and welcome back to the action here in the Virtual V8 Supercars 2013 Championship. You're watching Toby Davis, who is trying his darndest to get past Simon Kilo at the moment for that 10th place. While we're at the break as well, Junt past Eric Strachan, who's disappearing back through the field at the moment, really struggling this second stint, not quite sure why. And breaking news on William Levesque's troubles. He caught the grass and was breaking into turn 1 according to team boss Chris Butcher, and that resulted in him spinning and going wide into the turn 1 gravel and just about getting out of there, but of course losing that position to Tolborg as Davis down the inside of Kilo. Not quite, it was a half-hearted move almost, and a half-hearted bit of defending. Oh, Kilo's car, although we saw him during the break, Danny. He's hit him again through there. Oh, that was crazy stuff. That didn't calm itself down just a little bit, and again that's really quite silly there.
Come on now.
That's really quite silly. That was already not going to work, was it now, Toby? And he's let him go through once again just to keep his calm. And down the straight, we were watching Kilo weaving his car down just past the camera here. Not quite sure what he was doing.
And he squeezes Toby into
again,
turn one
Toby
again.
also weaving his car around as well. Not quite sure what happened to the cars here today. They're all moving around a heck of a lot, and Kilo coming out for the cutback, contact again. These two really need to calm down. Davis flashing his lights. Not quite sure what he was doing that for. Or maybe he just flashed them accidentally, but look who's gained on these two as they've been doing that. David John's caught right up to them. What on earth are you doing, boys?
Yeah, it's quite obvious that both teams
that turned
know.
into a real grudge battle quickly, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite obvious both teams know what's at stake here. They're really trying to fight over this team's championship, even in round one. And Kilov really wants his position, and Toby is he's not going to have any of it. He knows he's the quicker car, and he's saying, hey, I got to go through. I mean, we'll see if maybe Kilov can get in the slipstream here, maybe get him back, because I thought Kilov would have given this position up laps ago, but maybe Kilov's car is stronger than what we originally assessed.
He's never a shrinking violet when it comes to battling for a position, is he?
No. And now we're looking at about maybe 2 laps to go before, maybe 3 laps before we get into the second pit window here. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Well, lap 26, you would have thought people were pit winning because they pitted on lap 13. So actually, we've been in the lap after this.
Yeah, so any lap here. So now we're going to get to this final pit stop. I mean, guys have to make sure they don't leave themselves too much work to do on that final stint. So yeah, lap 26, lap 27 is when we can expect the cars to come in.
Well, of course, Reetbelt can take it easy. He can pit whenever he likes. He has almost a 10-second lead over the
Reetbelt
2
can get
THR
out
cars.
and push his car like we were talking about if he wanted to. He's got that type of gap to Jasper Tallberg in second place.
And of course, he doesn't need to take any risks entering pit lane either. He can get the car slowed down well before the cutoff point for the pit lane. So he doesn't need to take any risks this time around either. If Levesque had been a bit closer, he may have taken a bit more of a risk not losing that so much ground. But this time around, he's able to just go at his own leisure. Holmes in 4th place has lost ground to the lead trio, but an excellent 4th place at the moment in that fantastic looking Ford. I love the front end and the Iceco Racing logo on the power bulge on that car also as well.
Yeah, and just to
Yashin is in
interrupt
5th place.
again, it looks like Kilov is right back on Toby. He really wants to get right around. He had a nice little look into turn 2, was it? But it looks like Toby was able to cover the line. But I'm surprised Kilov is looking really strong, and I think he might be able to get Toby back before we go into the pits.
One thing I'm noticing also, though, you see, obviously the graphics aren't perfect for these particular things, suspension travel, that sort of thing. But we're seeing the precision cars in particular, their wheel, on the inside it goes!
Oh, this is tight. This is tight for Toby. Looks like he's
It's so
going to hold
difficult
it.
this
Yeah.
track, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got it. You're going to have to.
So many switchbacks and change directions.
After you get through this fast chicane up front, then we're going to see a real overtaking opportunity if Kilov can get out of here with a good run. Let's see if he can get on the back of Davis. I'm not sure if that's going to do it. If he can get in the slipstream, he can have a look. That's exactly how Toby had a look on Kilov a few laps before, but no, he's just too far back. Looks like maybe an undercut might be the best way for Precision to get around this THR car, Toby Davis.
What I'm noticing, sorry, the point earlier is that we're often seeing the wheels of the Precision cars come through the archways under load, obviously because the graphics aren't going to exactly get that perfect for us. But it's happening. Oh, what on earth is that? It's not going to work at all.
Very weird a few times, especially through these corners even.
So I'm seeing that the wheels go through the wheel arches quite a bit more than any other car I'm seeing so far. So maybe they're running very, very low ride heights, and that's allowing them to get more downforce and obviously faster throughout the lap.
Yes,
that's the secret.
Maybe that is the secret, because you can even see, especially there it is under braking again, the Precision car is getting very sideways, a little smoke from the tires when you're seeing THR look a little bit more steady, a little bit more
But you
together.
contrast that towards a Reetbelt style, and it's absolutely plain smoothing.
Yeah,
Plain smoothing, plain sailing. It's absolutely smooth and plain sailing.
So I guess it comes back to maybe the contact Kilov took earlier. Maybe it's I'm just assuming his car is just not right from that shunt that he got from McGregor. And here we go. Here we have Reetbelt coming in.
So right on cue.
Who's that car in front of him
as well,
there?
ahead.
And
he slowed it right down before the line once again, but plenty in hand, not quite as much as the previous time. So Torborg will come in also, as will William Levesque. So very standard strategies here. Nobody trying anything really. Pushing very hard. On the entry, Levesque just about getting the car slowed down. Looks like it was perfectly timed. In comes Holm also. And Sergei Yashin. The Albanese has gone long once again. So he went one lap longer in the previous stint. So in fact he's on the same amount of laps as everybody else for this particular stint. So Mueller actually is going one lap longer in this stint than everybody else. So 14 laps in this stint for Mueller, and counting, of course.
Looks like we have Toby and Keel out there just about to the pit entry right now. Let's see what
Strauss!
they do.
Look what Strauss has done! Strauss
no,
is
Floyd
entering the pit lane. Has he hit anything? No, he hasn't.
Looks
What on
okay,
earth has happened there? Maybe he's pushed too hard on the entry to. Of course, it's a very narrow entry into the first chicane. So into the pit lane. Sorry, he's easy to run out on the grass. So, but that was very strange indeed.
360 completely had a bad afternoon here because remember they won the team's championship in 2011, and so far it looks like they're going to be absolutely nowhere. And one of the interesting things we'll note here from this first stop is that Davis and Keeloff decided to both stay out, and I don't know why, especially Keeloff didn't perform the undercut right there, because this would be the lap to do it on, but those guys both stay out, and they'll have to go around again before they get to the pit entry.
So Strauss has gone out of the pit lane now, so he's back in 14th now, but of course there's a few drivers still to pit. We see the Optum Motorsport cars come very close to each other on the exit there, Clark and Oyala. And let's go back to live action now. There is Strauss. It's not been a good afternoon for him at all. Couple of we can't say uncharacteristic mistakes. We've seen plenty of mistakes before from Florian Strauss, but not what we wanted or expected from this particular event from the illustrious German. Salo in 13th place, and he's going to go back up to at least the top 10. Rivio has not pitted yet either. He did about 3 pit stops last time around, so he's probably sticking in that pit lane, holding off as long as possible.
Yeah, I mean, to Florian real quick, he held 8th place for the longest time, but just couldn't advance from that. And we're seeing Kilo continue to have a run at Davis. We'll see which one of those guys jumps in this time around. As I think this is who is it? Walk Racing, and then we have Michael Mueller coming in for their second stop. Yeah,
the Balvini's come in as well, so he's surrendered the lead of the race to Jeffrey Rietveld, and Jesper Torborg has dropped 0.4 of a second to Rietveld in those pit stops. Again, Levesque has gained a couple of seconds, so he's really got those pit stops down beautifully, and that may come into play later in the season if the drivers can't sort that out. But Davis has not pitted.
Yeah, this is
again, so he continues on. Kilo has pitted. Yun hasn't pitted either. He tends to go long.
Interesting there from Toby to stay out like this and go long. I guess he really wants a nice fresh set of tires for the final few laps of this race.
I don't think Gerdeker has pitted either. Or maybe no, I don't think he has. He wouldn't definitely be in 6th place if he pitted. So
yeah, no, he's
Gerdeker hasn't pitted either.
Teammate, yeah.
Holm will be restored to 4th place net once Gerdeker, Davis and Yunt pit. So that's Yashin net 5th and the Balvini's net 6th, with Mueller still right in behind Vinice, with so he'll be in net 7th place, with Salo being net 8th place now that Strauss has made the mistake, who will be in a net 9th place with Kilo right behind him now. So Kilo's still in that 10th place. Well, he was in 11th place, of course, because of the battle with Toby Davis. So Kilo has gained somewhere also as well. Who else has dropped back through the field? Somebody has dropped back through the field. Not quite sure who it is. But anyway, Kilo is now right on the back of Florian Strauss for that net 10th place. Although, of course, it depends where those pit-stopping guys come out, because Davis was right with Kilo. So they might come out right in this battle, about the 3-way battle for the 10th place.
Yeah, Kilov's not going to like getting out behind Florian Strauss like this, because it looks like, from my perspective, that Strauss is holding up Kilov a little bit, and Kilov really wanted to hit a nice outlap so he can get in front of this man right here, Toby Davis, once Toby cycles through the pits.
So lap 29, or lap 28 is where Davis. Oh, I was going to say he didn't pit that. He did pit that time. I was going to be very surprised. So 11 laps on the final stint for Toby Davis, after doing 15 in that middle stint. That's very ambitious indeed. It looks like he's got the car slowed down nicely. In comes Gerdeker also. So Yunt still has not come in. So Yunt continues. I'm sure he went a couple of laps longer in the first stint, so This is not unusual for him, because we'll go a couple of laps longer in the second stint also as well. But where will Davis return into the field? This is the big story right now at the moment.
I don't agree with this move, because if Keeloff gets out in front of Davis through these stops, I think that's game over. Because Keeloff, he's not going to let Toby pass him.
Well, here comes Strauss and Kilo now. And where is Davis? He's just leaving the pit box. He's going to be almost stole the car, it looked like to me there. And Gerdeker looks like he's gained also as well on the DHR driver. And there goes Kilo and Strauss. So Davis has lost out, and he only has 1 lap fresher tyres.
Yeah. Again, I didn't like the move when I originally saw he was going to do it, but we'll see what he can do now. He's just going to go flat out for 11 laps. I mean, he's going to have the fresher tires, but I mean, we'll see if that's going to make a difference.
Gerdeker looks like he's recovered it slightly, back to 13th place, so that's played out well for him. I'm pretty sure he wasn't that high up earlier on. In fact, no, he wasn't, because it was Strawn who was battling with Adams and a couple of other drivers there. So, but Rivio is into the pits. He's been forced to pit. Probably sick of being in these pits today. And there goes Bruno Salas for Ferrera. Also, always missed his pit box also as well, Eunice. He needs to obviously work on his pit strategy for the next particular race. Salas for Ferrera also leaves the pit lane. Well, Ockerklint's return. Oh, he'll get out ahead of Ockerklint very comfortably indeed, and especially even more comfortably if Ockerklint continues to run wide, just like that. So back at the front of the field, and it's Rietveld who leads by 11.1 seconds. Now Rivio is an entire lap down also as well. So a miserable afternoon after what started out so promising for the young Finn. But of course, it's easy to teach the simple things like pit strategies and that sort of thing. It's difficult to teach speed. So he's already got that speed. I think it'd be encouraging for him for the rest of the season. So Yunt into the pits also now then, belatedly. So home goes to 4th, and Yash into 5th, and now it looks like Mueller's even closer to Thibaut Vernice through here. So this will be a very interesting battle towards the end.
Yeah, Michael Moore looks like he's coming to his own here. Now he wants to have a look at the walk cars who are sitting in front of him. So maybe Michael, like I was saying earlier,
top 5
look,
inside
the top 5 maybe.
Incredible stuff. Yunt is now rejoining the track. Where will he rejoin this battle? Because of course he was just behind, but of course he's going very slow through his pit lane right now. And there you go. That's 40 kilometers an hour for you. And that will rejoin in behind Gerdeker, I think, and slot right in between Gerdeker and Adams. Gerdeker down the outside.
Yes,
he just got
have a run. I think
will Adams get a run down into the next corner? Here is Adams on board with the core racing driver. Yunt defends to the inside, almost using the grass on the outside. Don't want to do that when you're under braking in his cars.
That's
and
very
Yunt
good defense there by Yunt. Yeah, that's very good defense by David. He showed his experience in these cars driving for the past few years, and maybe now he can get himself together and have a run at Gerdeker for a 12th.
Davis is right behind Kilo once again, so he's not exactly lost any ground. He has lost that, of course, at track position, but he wants to get past Kilo pretty quickly, and then he'll want to assault Florian Strauss for that 9th place. Brent comes into the pits. He's had a miserable afternoon also alongside his THR teammates. More contact between the two.
These guys have been
One of them's going on here with these guys. Davis is just diving down the inside at any opportunity, and poor Kilo's taking the brunt of everything here today. He must be furious right now.
Yeah, you saw Kilo be very respectful with Florian, and then Toby just having no...
Well, really he's completely locked up, completely sideways, just shoves Kilo out of the way. Without Kilo being there, he would have probably gone into the gravel and lost a second or a couple of seconds. Yeah, and that's the second time that Davis had made a silly lunge like that. I have to use that word. It's silly. It really is. He always lets Kilo back through once again, or did Kilo make the pass? And he let Kilo back through. But really, he let Kilo back through, but he really should be doing that mistake in the first place, because, okay, so he's right in the position, but now look at the gap that Strauss has on Kilo, and Kilo now has to work to get that gap back to Strauss. So Davis, obviously, impetuous here today would be, and he's had a disappointing week actually, in fact, you would say, in sim racing.
Yeah, and
Virtual Mini Challenge, he had issues with his steering wheel, and the power shifter went, and he's way back in the field, in like 10th, 15th place, not where he's used to be. And in Thomas Gold Clearer Series, nowhere near as quick as the precision guys, and battling with his own teammates, and there's a bit of discord between himself and his own brother.
Yeah,
and of course now today, it's just all gone wrong, isn't it? Sorry, Danny, you want to get a word in, please?
team chart, yes, I picked up. They've been almost demoralized about what happened in Tom Onsicle Clio Series, but again, beat by position like that. And some of the drivers like Chris Butcher, Robert Wiesema, who's in this race today, they really had to. They were, like I said, very disappointed with their own performances, and now here we're seeing it kind of run over the
crazy
V8.
places to put in this car right now.
Yeah,
I understand he's faster, but those are crazy places to put your car. These are not Clios.
I don't know really what's got into Toby. Maybe I said maybe the races this week have gotten the best of him, and now he's just frustrated.
It's almost like smacks of a desperation to assert his team and himself.
Yeah, we really don't see this type of shenanigans even from Toby on track. He's usually very
calm,
courteous with other drivers.
But Kilo must be pretty furious about the standard of driving that he's had to come up against today, because he's been very respectful of the drivers around him, not hit any of those guys ahead of him, and not made any silly lunges. When he's been taken out by Ross McGregor, he's been hit a couple of times by, well, more than a couple of times by Toby Davis here today, so he's probably quite annoyed.
Yeah, he's not going to be happy camper. He's certainly going to maybe even file some type of complaint with some of the stuff he's seen out here. And again,
look again.
Well,
there's no way he's going to make that move.
Kilov's car. He's just been a target for some of these guys. I feel bad for him out there.
Hopefully someone's on the blower to Toby Davis, letting him know the criticism he's taking right now in the live broadcast, and from all the viewers who will be taking a dim view of this kind of driving.
Yeah,
and it's completely out of character for Toby Davis. It's completely a character for the V8 Supercars as well. This is very rarely this kind of thing happens. Everyone's quite respectful on track. It's actually the most well-behaved touring car series that we hold at the Touring Pro Series.
Yeah, Toby's got to get this in check here, get himself together, and hopefully have a respectful finish to this race. But Florian Strauss, just to comment on him quickly, I thought he fell back. I think the 14th even through his I think his spin or his off-track go. Actually,
well, the three people hadn't pitted ahead of him, so it's a net 11th. So
right. So yeah, I mean, he hasn't fallen back through the field too badly, but again, it's still not what a driver of his caliber is going to be looking for.
Well, he has still picked up 2 positions over where he qualified, of course. So
well, the qualifying
it's difficult,
position,
isn't it?
The qualifying position we could put in question right off the bat, because I know he wasn't happy with his pace, and I certainly expected Florian maybe to come through the field a little stronger than he did so far. I mean, because 9th place is really not the best for a guy who's won this championship before.
Well, of course, remember, who was he behind? He was behind Adrian Holm early on, following him through, nice and, keeping close. Look where Adrian is now. Adrian's up in 4th place, Florian's back in 9th, and that's just illustrates, doesn't it, how the troubles that Florian's had today.
Yeah, again, Florian spent a lot of time working on his lap pace with the controlled tires, but we really haven't seen those effects of that training so far.
We missed it, but another one of the stories is that Mueller is up to 6th place, and he has now split those 2 walk racing cars.
Yeah, Mueller.
So a fabulous performance from Michael Mueller.
Yeah, what's the most impressive thing about him? Because like I said, he qualified in Division 2 or just at the tail end of Division 1. Usually, what happens with a guy like that, they'll get up this high and they'll fall back. But Mueller, he's going forward from the word go, and he continues to be one of the fastest cars on the grid. I am absolutely blown away from the performance we've seen from the No Limit driver.
Yeah, it was an absolutely fabulous performance. He just sorted out his qualifying pace, and we could see him become an absolute force throughout this season. His 6th place on your debut in the Touring Pro Series is fantastic. As his 7th place, of course, for Thibaut Venice.
Yeah, both Walk and No Limit have done very well to hover around that top 10. Both Walk cars inside top 10, but obviously the other No Limit and Robert Godek is in 12th. So both very good round ones from these 2 teams.
Speaking of Robert Gurdick, it's right behind Toby Davis now, who's been obviously reshaping that Holden Commodore with the back bumper of Simon Kilo's Holden Commodore, and probably a little bit more day glow on Toby's car than started, a bit more orange on Kilo's car than what started the race. But either way, it seems to have settled down now, which is nice to see after a hectic few laps. And Gurdick, he's taken advantage of all those shenanigans. Of course, they'll be wearing the tyres out, bashing into each other as well, and Gurdick has just kept it nice and straight, and is now ranging up on the back of these 2. But again, remember this: Kilo and Davis are 2 massive TPS names, and Kilo now has 5 wins to his name in the Touring Pro Series, including that double win just Wednesday gone into the Tom Cole Clio Series, and Toby Davis is also very high up in the TPS Hall of Fame.
Both of them are two top names within the TPS right now. And actually, with the next TPS magazine, we're going to be doing a bit of a kind of a trending drivers. And I can tell you both these guys are very high up on that list. But they just need to have a little bit more respect for one another. Mainly Davis with Akilov, but that whole little scrum led, I think it is David Yunt now that's caught on to the back of that train.
Yes, indeed, yeah.
Here we have Tommy O'Hala with Eric Strawn here battling over 17th position. And I know you were saying earlier, Ryan, that Strawn is just falling back and has not looked too strong here through this event.
Well, he qualified, reasonably well. It was 16th place, from what I recall. It was okay. Then he moves his way up into, I think it was about 11th, 12th place after the first pit stops, after a nice sensible strategy and taking advantage of other people making small mistakes. But he seems to just drop back ever since. I mean, it's been a slow, inexorable kind of drop back. It wasn't like it just made one mistake and then something had to fight way back through again. He's just been quite slow, it seemed. And Strawn, it's strange because he was one of the fastest drivers at the end of the 2013 season, 2012 season, should I say.
Exactly. And I was talking about Michael Muller a little earlier, and that's what I expected from a guy like that. Eric Strawn, he's got a year of this thing. I really didn't expect him to kind of fade away like we've seen in this race here today. I mean, he talked to me before the race, said he was looking for a top 10 result here today, and he's looking for a top 10 result on the overall championship. But so far, he's not looked that strong.
Absolutely not. And Strawn not looking strong. So, it works much better in Danny Asbury's American drawl.
I guess it does. Eunice Rabbio, just to talk about other surprises, he's in 8th position. So again, a very good result.
Who's in 8th position?
I'm sorry, I said Rasmus Salo. For some reason, I get Eunice Rabbio and Rasmus Salo mixed up. I can't.
They are both very good friends, so I'm sure they'll let you off.
But it's Rasmus Salo who sits in 8th position, who's flying the banner.
Yeah, we've not talked about him much at all, have we? Let's give him some airtime because it's been a very lonely, very solid run, and not made any mistakes at all. Ninth, 8th place, and it's a fantastic result.
I can tell you, Rasmus Salo had a lot of fans talking during the midweek race for Tom Alonso Clio Series because he was like the lone driver outside of a THR or Precision guy that was actually challenging for a podium.
Yeah, he qualified third, of course, in the second race, and then he got mugged off on the start, unfortunately.
Yeah, and so again, we're seeing Salo's pace here, and I think Salo might be one of the biggest reasons that Optimum Sim Sport could be a very big force in VB8 2013.
And I'm sure they'll be taking a little bit of pride in the fact that they're beating, their best driver from last season, Eric Strawn, who took a couple of podiums last season, and he's now way back in 18th, while Salo's in 8th, and Yala's right ahead of Eric Strawn also as well. So maybe a little bit of Schadenfreude there as well.
That's actually a very good point because I know a lot of people thought with the loss of Eric Strawn that Optimum Sim Racing was going to fall back to obscurity, but Bradley's rebuilt that team. Yeah, and they look stronger than ever.
And they're missing, of course, again today, Juha Tuinainen, who pre-qualified brilliantly well, and would have also been a force right next to Rasmus Salo for this particular event. So again, Optimum Sim Racing has not been written off at all. I thought when Strawn left, I thought, oh dear. They're all going to ice cold racing. Right, they did just go back to being, for want of a better word, back markers. But that's not been the case in the slightest, and it's fantastic to see. It really is. What's also fantastic to see is this great battle here between. Who's that in the background there? Oh, that's Eunice Rabbio. Sorry about that. I thought it was maybe Toby Davis or Jesper Torborg in behind there, but it's actually a green car. It could be a Reece Notenboom, of course, also. But this is a great battle here between Yashin, Muller and Vernice. Muller is putting the pressure on Yashin into these final couple of laps. Only 4 laps to go here. 36, 37, 38 and 39.
Yeah, and this is like the quickest, the closest battle on track, especially inside the top 10. It's going to be interesting to see exactly who can come out on top. I think Muller, he has his eyes on that top 5, and I think he wants to get this done here, right?
This would be a superb performance as well. We would be ecstatic after the race if he could pull this one off, especially because he was off in the gravel at that particular corner early on. Lost a couple of positions to both Strauss and his teammate Gerdiger, but fended both of those off very well indeed, and is now right in this battle here as they go into the final few laps. And look at him, he's searching for a way past, searching for traction. He's got a great traction out of there as well, actually. In fact, will he try and make a move into turn 10-11?
This would be
put
crazy.
Pressure on Yashin, who comes across a track and decides, actually, I want the race at 9. But, that's big contact through there as well. That's dangerous stuff. Now here comes Venice as well. Of course, that's the issue, isn't it? Touring cars, you try and tap one guy ahead, and the other guy behind slips through unnoticed almost.
Oh, he's got to watch him. So you're exactly right, Ryan, because it looks like he was going to have a look at Yasha. Now Vernice is all over him. These guys are all aligned astern here, 1, 2, 3, for the fifth position. And with only 2 laps remaining, this could go either way, because then you have Ravio there, who's obviously lapped. He's not in this fight.
And he's got the overlap into there. We saw there as well, of course. You didn't see a reckless dive up the inside, a la Toby Davis on Simon Kilo earlier.
These guys
on,
have been very respectful.
The same kind of position. They've got respect.
Yeah, this has been very respectful. It's good to see, and hopefully it can end well as because I mean they pretty much fall with one
they're
another
close
race.
together though at high speeds. It looks dangerous still. It's really exciting to be in that car right now, but I'm not sure which car I'd rather be in.
Yeah, and Eunice Ravio, I think
I'd rather be Eunice Ravio's car.
Yeah,
he's not fighting position. He's got the box seat.
He's got the best seat in the house for this fight, and hopefully he'll just back off and won't pull a Gary Lennon at Barbagello and throw himself right in the middle of it.
And
sideways there.
These cars, they see a lot more sideways action with these. I was saying it again. See a lot more sideways action with these control tyres than we saw in pretty much the entire of last season. I'm sure actually some of these drivers will be regretting their moaning about the sprint tyres wearing out so quickly and be yearning for their grip once again.
You know, that's actually the sense I got from some of the drivers talking to them before the race. I mean, but again, hey, they got what they asked for. We do have some sprint tire events, and we'll see how that, the mix.
Well, it's a true test season, isn't it?
Exactly,
it's a variety, so.
So, I mean, that needs to be said. Maybe a guy like William LeBike didn't look exceptionally strong today, but hey, maybe these races come into his own once we get to those sprint tires.
Absolutely, and of course the sprint events as well, so much shorter. In fact, a few of those are double header events, which we've never had in the Virtual V8 Supercars, despite the fact they're commonplace in the real V8 Supercars. And so looking forward to those particular events, we're going to have and a Ravio in the background, and his day gets worse, and he's lost his box seat also as well. So his ticket has dropped.
He lost his tickets, yeah.
He obviously dropped his ticket down the back of his seat, tried to reach it, and ran out.
Yes, that is the end of Eunice Ravio in this one. He sits in 24, so I don't think that really hurts him too bad. He's just probably going to finish and get points. Yep, and even if it's very critical to finish these races if you can, because we do have Division 2, and if you don't finish, I mean, you don't get points, and then you are relegated Division 2, and that completely can cripple your championship.
Absolutely, and this battle is still ongoing, and it's thankfully calmed down quite a bit, although Kilo's driving hasn't calmed down. It's been quite all over the shop today, whether that's down to damage or just his driving style in these particular cars. But you see the damage on the back end of that car. That GamePod logo is not as straight as it should be.
I'm pretty sure someone got in Toby's ear and told him to kind of, back it down a little bit, because Keeloff hasn't pulled a gap to Davis, but Davis has kind of calmed himself and is not really looking for every little opening that Keeloff opens.
Yeah, that would absolutely make sense, of course, as well, for just a team manager to get on. Well, not the team manager, but the team THR co-owner is Chris Butcher, and he would have gone on his ear and said, just chill it out, calm it down.
Yeah.
Because you are live broadcast, and you are getting several hundred people judging you right now. As Robert Gerdica is also looking for a way through, and he just can't quite find one, as Junt is trying his darndest just to try and hold on to the back of this battle, but it looks like it's a losing battle for him. Adams in 14th, Wiesmuller 15th, 16th is Ross McGregor. It's been a miserable afternoon for everyone at High Score Racing, apart from Adrian Holm, of course. 17th, here is Eric Strawn. He's got ahead now of Tommy Oyala. 90th place for Heinz Petzold. 20th place for Tristan Clark. Many didn't expect him to be in Division 1, never mind in 20th place in Division 1 in the race, so he's done incredibly well to get himself up there. 21st, Bruno Salsa Ferreira. 22nd is Jonathan Ockerclint. 23rd is Kevin Brent, so he's dropped, no, he's not dropped actually, he's still gaining on Ockerclint. We're only gone to the last lap in a few seconds here. Rival 24, saw him spinning just a few moments ago. 25th is Matty Orban, has never recovered from that puncture earned early on. Crooks, Noten Boom, Latter and Richards all out of the race. On to the final lap then. Half a lap to go for Jeffrey Rietveld, and what has been an absolutely wonderful performance from the Precision Motorsports driver. Precision, before Precision came along, THR were sweeping the board with everything. Since then, Precision have been sweeping the board with everything. Can THR hit back?
And I think THR is the frustration is kind of at an all-time high for them. I mean, you could definitely sense it. They're not used to getting routinely beat by someone like this. And yeah, again, will they be able to bounce back? We'll definitely see through the course of Tom Alonso Pro Clio Series, and here again with Virtual V8. So far, the first bout looks like it's going to go to precision, but it's very close.
And if there's
very
one
close.
quality THR has, it's the ability to fight back and to strive. And I'm looking forward to that determination coming through. And it's Rietveld put another show here, celebrating a little bit through these corners. Don't do that too much. It looks like it's almost going to put a wheel on the grass there, but he's going to come round the final few corners, Craig Lowndes style, get the back of the car out. And it's been a wonderful performance today. 39 laps around the Albert Park Street, 200 kilometres, and Rietveld has been the class of the field. He weaves across the line in absolute delight. He's put on an absolutely wonderful show here today. Congratulations to Jeffrey. Second place come across the line will be Jesper Torborg, the reigning champion. Gets his championship challenge off with a good start. Again, a good start winning the bet. Not what he hoped for, of course, but third place is plenty good enough. Fourth place is going to be Adrian Holm. A great performance from the Ice Cold Racing driver, and he's going to start this season well. And compared to last season, he does not start well at all. And he's delighted. Look at that. Weaving the car across the line. All these drivers are delighted just to finish this race because it's such a long, demanding race. And here across the line, fifth place is going to be Deval Bernice. Flashes his lights across the line. Comes Okerlin and Brent and Mueller. Yashin finishes fifth. Oh, sorry, Yashin in that fifth place. Mueller in sixth. Bernice in seventh. So great performance there from all three of those guys. Really some fantastic drives throughout there. Eighth place for Salo. Again, a lonely drive, but wonderful performance from him. Ninth place, a bit disappointing and underwhelming from Florian Strauss. Couple of mistakes ruined his afternoon. And 10th place is going to be Simon Kilo. So both position guys beat both the THR orange guys.
Yeah, and real quick, I just want to tip my cap to Toby to kind of calm down, like to yield the position to Kilo. That was very respectful after some very disrespectful driving in the majority of this race. But that's very good for him to give the position to Kilo like that.
It was in the end, yes. 12th place, 11th place Toby Davidson, 12th place for Gerdiger, 13th place for David Yunt, 14th place for Darren Adams on his debut in the Virtual V8 Supercars. So he's pretty pleased with that, flashing his lights at each other down the straight. 15th place for Robert Biesemiller, 16th place to Ross McGregor. A miserable afternoon. Started off with that, well, not quite sure what it was.
We don't know what happened.
17th place to Tommy Oyala, who beat Eric Strand in the end. So that battle went right down to the wire. 19th place to Heinz Petzold, and rounding out that top 20 was Tristan Clark. We'll be right back in just a couple of minutes' time, and we'll have some driver interviews for you, some driver reaction. Stay tuned.
Inside SimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
GamePod, the ultimate race rig for those serious about sim racing. Puts you in the driver's seat with all the controls at your fingertips. Be number one on the road, in the race, in the game. GamePod, the choice.
Well done.
And sorry about that, everyone who's been watching just then, but we were unfortunately on mute with our TeamSpeak, so we'll try and get a word with the drivers once again. We were talking to William Levesque about, of course, his third place today, which is not, of course, what you were wishing for, William, but third place is still a pretty good result, and but you're under siege from Precision at the moment.
Yeah, it's not going well. Definitely not. We have work to do within the team. I've got work to do on my own, and yeah, we just can't let it go like that because we'll end up not winning anything for a while now. So well, we'll definitely work on that, and we'll come back.
And we just quickly go back to what we were talking about earlier. Chris Butcher was not racing today, but he's a THR co-owner. You were talking about what you have to do to reassert yourselves in the TPS, Chris.
Well, yeah. As I said, they seem to be a bit more organised than us at the moment. We know that they, in terms of funding, have got more than us. That's one of the big issues for us. But yeah, we're having a meeting to discuss organisational sort of things, and we're going to be employing some tactics of our own to make sure we're back up at the front. But it's not all doom and gloom actually, because we're doing pretty well in the minis, so we're doing something right.
Absolutely, but you could argue there's not very much precision presence in the minis at the moment, but I'll not play the devil's advocate for too long. But of course, second and third is still a great result for THR, and I'm sure many teams would have taken that before the race, and they probably think you're being a bit ungrateful. But of course, it's all about expectations and standards and that sort of thing. But Danny, you were talking to Adrian Holmes. Sorry to put you through that again, Adrian, but we need to go through this interview once again.
All right, so Adrian, pretty much like I said before the race, you said maybe a top 10 you were looking for, certainly not top 5, but you came in today, you were very strong with your race pace and everything, took fourth today. Talk about your excitement for getting that position.
Oh, it was an incredible race for me. I got a pretty bad start. Eventually I got back into my race pace and just kept on racing, and I had good speed today, so fourth was not expected but very welcome.
And just talk a little bit about the transition from racing with Nija Racing, the third place team from last year's Constructors Championship, now racing with Ice Cold this year.
It's been big, you know. Nija is a two-car team, small when we raced back then, but we didn't have any technical support from any of the big teams, so we pretty much were on our own, and me, not a touring driver at all, didn't know what I was doing with the car, but eventually we got back on top and scored some podiums at the end.
Well done, Adrian. Fourth place, an incredible result. Now let me see if I can get Rasmus Salo for a quick word, the Optimum Sim Racing driver. Rasmus,
yeah.
You finished 8th today. Were you surprised about your pace and how well you did?
Maybe a little, but yeah, it was a flawless and dramaless drive. So yeah, I guess my pace wasn't quite there, but yeah, flawless.
And what do you think about kind of spearheading the Optimum Sim Racing attack throughout the TPS? Because you did well in Tom's local Clio series. Now to come out here today and lead Optimum again, how does that make you feel?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I race for myself, and well, obviously the team surrounding me is a huge help, you know, in terms of setup in the car and so forth. So yeah, I'm racing for myself.
Well, very nice, Rasmus. I know Ryan wanted to now point this towards someone else.
We did. We got a word from Jeffrey Rietveld while we were on complete silence, and do apologise again for my faux pas during that. I missed clicking the correct button. But Jeffrey, we wanted to obviously speak to you, and it was a flawless performance really today. Perhaps the start of the race. But you were talking about, could it have gone any better for you?
You know, pole position, race win, and fastest lap. I don't think it's possible to do anything better than that. Only my second stint was not that good, to be honest. I used way too much tire at the beginning, so that messed up my car at the end of the stint. But yeah, for the rest, everything went flawless. And also the pit stops, I really need to figure something out how THR is so fast there. I don't know if there's some kind of trick, or I was just very, very cautious at the pit. I mean, I lost like 6 or 5 seconds in the first stop. So yeah, I need to figure it out. But for the rest, it was a very good race.
Absolutely, and of course, then we're going into sprint tyres for for the next 2 or 3 races in the championship. I mean, how do you feel your driving style suits those tyres?
I think my driving style suits tires very well, to be honest. I mean, they are a bit more grippy, and yeah, I did a bit of testing on them for this race because at first I didn't know it was only the normal tire. A bit of my mistake, but yeah, I got a bit of a feel for them, and they feel really great. You can push even harder, so I think we should be okay.
Well, well done to you, Jeffrey, and of course, Precision are really taking the fight to THR in the TPS at the moment, and it's great to see. And good luck in the rest of the championship, and congratulations for today once again. I want to quickly talk one more person in here, and talk to Robert Gerdiker if he's able to chat to us. Robert,
yeah, I'm here.
Robert is part of the No Limit Motorsports, and we saw him in action today on track, and they've made their debut in the TPS. Just talk us through how that race went for you, Robert.
First of all, the qualifying result was much better than we actually expected in the first place, because we knew that during training that a lot of the very fast guys didn't set a lap by that time when we were driving and so on. But apparently, we're coming from endurance series, so we are more used to driving consistent the same lap time over and over and over again, and that was probably the reason why we were able to get very close to our own personal best lap times. Michael even did an even better job, and so we ended up in, I think, place 9 and 11. So it was a lot better than we expected. But in turn 1 I didn't really know what was going on, but something hit both of our cars, and we panicked a little. But yeah, after the first lap, we noticed that we didn't actually lose positions, but our pace was not as good as we expected in the race. That was some kind of weird, but
not as good as you expected, because we saw that Mueller obviously took a 6th place in the end, and even with a small mistake, and he seemed to be putting in some metronomic laps at some points.
Yeah, of course. I mean, what I noticed is that a lot of the faster guys actually struggled with the tires at the end of each stint, which wasn't the case for us usually, and that is maybe the reason why we
You think maybe to push the tires a bit harder, a bit earlier?
Yeah, but apparently or in my opinion, it's not possible at our current stage or at our experience we have so far, because if I try to brake a little bit later or step on the throttle a little bit earlier, it just I spin out or I get heavy understeer, stuff like that. So another thing is I need to say a big sorry to Mr. Vernis. I don't know if I pronounced him correctly, but I was braking a little bit too late there, and yeah, I think he didn't spin out. I think he was able to continue.
He didn't at all. You just only harmed yourself, which was unfortunate, but yeah, we saw that live on the broadcast as well, Robert, so one of those things we caught. So well, congratulations for your good performance today. I mean, it was an excellent performance from Mueller, of course, as well, and you kept your head down and came home still in that 12th place, and best of luck for the rest of the season. We have a special guest in here today. He wasn't racing V8s today, and he was racing V8s last season for a couple of races, but Stoffel van Dorne, welcome to the interviews. And of course, Stoffel, you're used to racing in TPS. You used to be an ATCC champion, won the V8s before, of course. But nowadays, you kind of do something else. You race in the Formula Renault 3.5, and you're now a McLaren member of McLaren team as well, aren't you? Part of the Young Driver project.
Yeah, sure. Well, lately I didn't have so much time for sim racing, so that's why I'm not showing up so much as before, which is a good point for my career, obviously. But yeah, tonight I was free, so I watched a bit the race, and because I'm quite a good friend with Jeffrey, so I helped him a bit out on the setup and kind of stuff like that, because he didn't have a lot of experience. And but yeah, he did the job today, so obviously a very good job from him.
Excellent stuff, and hopefully you enjoyed the broadcast. Now you're going to be racing next weekend, aren't you? In Formula Renault 3.5. How do you think you're going to go?
I don't know. It's a bit difficult.
None of the team bosses are listening, so just say what you like.
No, I really don't know. Winter testing was really good for me. I was always
It was.
always at the front of the timesheets, so that what is important. But yeah, now the first race, I don't really know. Monza is also a kind of a difficult track. A lot of slipstream, so strategy will be really important. So yeah, I don't know. We will see what happens.
And you would say that your main rival is going to be Felix da Costa in the main season. But who apart from that do you think will be your main rivals?
Yeah, for sure, Da Costa will be one of the biggest rivals. But beside of that, there are a lot of other people that are, I mean, that have really good pace and will be really strong.
Guys.
I think Kevin Magnussen as well will be really strong. And yeah, I think for the championship, those two will be the main rivals. And then beside of that, there are a lot of people who can win races as well.
Well, best of luck in the season, Stoffel. We'll all be watching the TPS intently to see how you do, and we'll also fingers crossed you get into Formula One very soon indeed as well. And if you do, make sure you have a TouringProSeries logo on your helmet. Well, thank you for joining us, Stoffel, and it's great to speak to you once again. So, everybody,
Cheers.
Thank you for watching, and it's been a fantastic event, Danny. An intriguing start to the 2013 season.
It's been a very good start. I know we kind of build this thing up to be precision against THR, and that's what it wound up being. But it was nice to see some surprises like Home, Salo, and of course the No Limit guys in Walk Racing also get inside the top 10 and scoring some very good points.
So going into the rest of the season, do you see Rietveld continuing this kind of dominance, or do you see the gap closing?
The big issue is going to be once we get onto these sprint tires. I mean, can William Levike regain his form? If he can do that, then we've got a good championship on our hands. If Rietveld continues his dominance even on the sprint tires, then unfortunately it looks like the guy's in a league of his own. I mean, and I guess we'll just have to see next round.
Absolutely. So the next round you can see in 2 weeks' time at the same time. And of course, if you miss any of this kind of stuff, you can also catch us on YouTube, youtube.com/TouringProSeries. There are plenty of, we'll also have highlight videos from these events as well, and from the Toronto Cole Clio Series. So you can take your pick. You can either watch the highlight videos, or you can watch back the live broadcast replays in full. So Facebook also where you can find us, and don't forget, of course, to check out gamepod.co.uk. If you're needing a race rig seat or just want a race rig seat, that should be absolutely your first port of call. They've got free shipping to USA, Canada, and the whole of Europe right now. So make sure you take advantage of that, because everyone knows how much shipping can cost for such large items from abroad. So check them out, and make sure you check us out as well. Give us a like on Facebook, Twitter. Follow us on Twitter, and also subscribe to us on YouTube as well. You get all of the news first and foremost. For now, I've been Ryan Callan. I've been joined by Danny Asbury. It's been great having you. We'll see you next Friday for the next TPS event, and in 2 weeks' time for the next Virtual V8 Supercars round. Until then, have fun.
GamePod, the ultimate race rig for those serious about sim racing. Puts you in the driver's seat with all the controls at your fingertips. Be number one on the road, in the race, in the game. GamePod, the choice of champions.